Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe. He's a Reddit bro, likes to edit, to glow when folks are likes. Yeah, he's really hype, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus hacking, who cheated who, which engine that ain't hacking. He got blocked by short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan. And distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rules his action. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable, 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practice his rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweak and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing, while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to glow when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hype, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, hands, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that ain't hacking. He got blocked by short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rules his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. don't you know? Welcome to the dojo. It's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo. I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices, rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for ELO farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweak and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training hours a day playing out.
All right, my friends, welcome back. And we have a lot of graduates this week. Normally I would do the show at noon, but we are going to do a big dojo stream at noon. This is actually for next week. I have to plug this in. So we're going to continue. We did through everybody through 1100 through Strange Comfort yesterday. So we're going to keep on going. Angry Narte made it, dude. Wow. We got some famous people making it here too. I will probably not make it through this list by noon, but what I was thinking was that we could continue maybe looking at it with the other senseis when they arrive. Okay, so we got first up Lucas. Let's read what he says. I joined the dojo in December last year. This is my first graduation. It took a lot longer than expected. Reached 1350 on ChessCom in 9 months, and I thought gaining another 100 points would be a problem. How wrong I was. Even though I feel that following the program has helped my game immensely, it took a while for the improvement to reflect in my rating. However, I enjoyed the journey. The Polgar mates, the theoretical endgames, and reading most instructive games were all very fun and transformative for my play. What I like most about the dojo is the ability to find long and serious games, which is hard to come by through regular online matchmaking. Since I started participating in round robins, I found that I enjoy those games a lot more. I would like to ask Jesse to review my game against JC. Okay, will do. Beautiful thing. And here we go. This is Lucas. From Slovenia, dude. Okay, my neighbor is from Slovenia. And so one of the things that's cool about this is everybody's going to hit a plateau. And it's so cool when you can push through it. Now, really, does it really qualify as a plateau if it only took you less than half a year? Maybe. But really, I probably felt more like a plateau to him than a real plateau, right? Maybe the next cohort might be the one where he really struggles. Okay. He's got a condition that keeps me from pushing real pawns, so I push digital ones. Okay, interesting. Okay, so this all looks great, and his tactics rating's high, so he's doing a lot of tactics. So maybe we should expect his chances of graduating to the next level are reasonable, just from that little metric. Let's see clubs. Lucas, if I could get a favor, that would be to create a club in either from Slovenia or maybe the city you are in. Okay, here we go, games. And there it is, this JC game, 45-30. Let's click it. Yesterday, if you recall, at the very end, we had the beta. I was using the beta version of the time management ratings, clock time ratings. It turned out we weren't ready even for the beta. So our lead dev guy is going to look into a problem that we have with that. Okay, so Lucas is white. Let's get into it. So far, so good. This is a very, kind of, to my mind, a kind of a fancy variation. He says he knows no concrete lines, only some ideas. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. And now he plays f3. He says rather he should play g4. Okay, I like that a lot. Now, one of the things, Lucas, that I would want to drill down on, if I was your coach, is when you play this way and you play g4, what's really kind of important to understand, this is a deep thing that even some GMs, sometimes I think they don't even understand, is when you play g4, the thing you should say to yourself is, look, it's not so much that I'm trying to attack. That was the word you used. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to defang f5 or make the f5 break very unpleasant for the guy. That's the idea, right? If he gets f5 in, he'll get his standard King's Indian play. If we can make that painful for him, the f5 break, well, then that's the point of g4. Now, will it maybe turn into an attack? Are there possibilities for it to turn into an attack? Yes. But it's important to see that you are most importantly doing a prophylactic maneuver, i.e. you are stopping him from doing something. All right, here we go. f3, a6. Okay. Queen d2, king h7, and now g4. Okay. I still like your position. The lack of development makes me a little nervous. All right, knight g8. And now you go for it and play h4. Bang. So you call this necessary. Maybe it's necessary. It's certainly thematic. Now, this is the big moment for black. Should he play f5? I think he probably should. Is it hectic? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's pretty hectic. Do I know exactly what's going on after f5? No, I don't. But if he doesn't play it, you get to play h5 yourself. All right, he plays b5. Now, the easy thing for you to do is just to take it. And he would maybe have Benko-like play. Now, it's actually, I'll say b5's playable. b5's playable. So what you should see about this is we now have a Benko-ish position. And the idea of this sacrifice is to say, well, I'll have enough pressure on these files to negate your central advantage. Okay, so you calmly play b3. He takes. I don't like it. Now, I think he should probably play something like b4 or just keep the tension on b5. This relieving the tension is all to your benefit. You can take either way. Yeah. But they're both good. Okay. Now, one interesting thing here is I think you're not playing h5 because you're worried about him closing it up. But that's kind of part of the thing. If you can force that, first you get the f5 square. But more importantly, then he is no lo puedo doing nothing on the king side ever again. And then you have a free hand in the center and the queen side. It's a very advanced thing, though, isn't it? Because you have to then crack him on the queen side. Okay. Now king f2, which you don't like. Now, I get it. Maybe f5. Well, by the way, this is where we see you should have played h5 earlier, right? If you had played h5 first, it just makes the f5 break completely emasculated. Okay, so king f2, f5. All right, we missed that. And now knight g3. And right, you should play bishop f5, and it's hard to evaluate after bishop f5. One thing we should say about this, just so you know, is in general, if you can get the knight to e4, you're not going to lose the game. So that's good news. Right? All right, and this is a very standard King's Indian move with e4, and right, you're probably toast now. Bishop c2, okay, probably your best chance. And now he goes snip, snop, and snook. This guy's killing us. Rook c8. Well, that's a weird move. Let's just say he's... One thing actually we want to say in here, Lucas, is the guy is winning, I think, in more than one way here. I think. So we should be able to just find it. It's interesting, though, because he can't easily get this f4 thing in without pain. So, for example, if f4 now, it looks like you're forking a piece, but bishop e4 check, and his king has no spot. Here, a very sensible move looks like knight f6. Definitely he wants to get that rook in. And definitely rook c8 is weird. We don't even know what it's about. Good move. Good move. Okay, now you're on fire. d5, thank you very much. Oh, now we're doing things. All right, so now you play queen f4. Looks plausible. F takes e4 also looks like a thing. Okay, good. Look at this move he does, dude. Bang! Oh, Lucas, nice move, man. Bang! Oh, yeah. Beautiful stuff. So one of the things we can say about this, Lucas, is it is very hard to play with a space advantage. That's what you're doing when you play this fancy thing of the King's Indian. A lot of Averbach variation, but also a lot of other variations against the King's Indian. Black gives you space in return for some play. When we play for space like that, the key thing will be stopping our opponents from moving. So stopping our opponents from doing something like f5, from freeing their pieces. And of course, in this example, classic King's Indian style, black gets his pieces activated, which we don't want to do. Then plays rook c8, no one understands, right? But I think that was a very high-class game, especially for where you are. You know, that was definitely, I felt, higher than the 1200 rating, you know, that you now have. Okay, so that was beautiful. Let's go to the next one. We actually have a clock graph too. I'll show that too real quick. That's a pretty good looking time graph right there. One of the things, I have to fix the time graph. Sometimes it just gives me a real, boom, there it goes. So one of the things about, in my experience, the time graph that's interesting is certain openings have different kinds of time graphs. So to me, the King's Indian has maybe the most idiosyncratic time graph because it's the kind of opening where players can play often a bunch of theory, sometimes 15, even 20 moves out. But then the position is so ridiculously complicated that it drops like a stone like that because people have to think epic amounts of time, right? And you see that here in this graph. Okay, let's go back. Grad show. And we are going to go over to Rob Bonaris. Rob Bonaris says, working on slower time controls has been the key. Okay, beautiful. And he is graduating to 13, 14. Playing for about 4 years. Recently joined a club. Playing from Holland. Beautiful. I'm resolving to give up blitz. aiming to enter my first OTB. Okay. And in February 26th, and I'm currently training for this. So we might see some of those games when we look at Ra's games. So he's got a very high tactics rating. That suggests he's going up still. Okay, let's get into the Dutch dojo. Let's get, I don't know, maybe you're from Utrecht. Maybe we'll put a little Utrecht dojo. You know, you can create that. Or Groningen. Groningen. No one can say it. We all know it's a joke. Okay, so here we go. This is very recent. Let's look at this one. First, is there time? This is an OTB, so we don't have time. It's a club game. Mark this is reviewed. Again, the Europeans just simply have the advantage that they can play these club games like once a week or so. Beautiful for their progress. Okay, a little soft, but that's okay. A6, weird. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So one of the great things that you guys can all see about this is he doesn't need to know any fancy theory, and he's just moving his pieces on natural squares. Good. Now we have a choice, and he plays d5, and I like it a lot. And he says, blunting his light square bishop. Beautiful. Yeah. And this is a very standard thing where it's not just about space, it's about killing the bishop. We're talking in the last game about playing with space, and here I would definitely say that the point of this move, d5, is not just space, but controlling the opponent's pieces, and we saw that as being the idea I was trying to communicate in the last game. e6, good move. e5, I don't know. I don't know. So one thing we're going to see here, we have seen with this opponent, is he doesn't respect the time aspect of the position. Okay. This, for me as well, even though I would know that I have a very nice position, this would be a difficult position for me to know what to do. Okay? Because it sounds like you want to play for f4, and that's a fine idea. The grief with f4 is that if we if we don't take back with a pawn, then the knights will get access to this square, and that's no good. We can't give him that. So that's complicated. Similarly, if we break with b4, we might be giving the knight on c5 a square, right? Also now with e5, our bishop is kind of dead. Now notice, these are all problems that white has, but I'm not saying that black is better. I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying these are some problems that we have to figure out. And it's not necessarily easy. Now, we're going to look at what you did. My intuition is if we're going to play for f4, we need to do something like g3, knight h4, knight e1, or knight d2, and then f4. Yeah. One reason I'm drawn to f4 is I want to activate the bishop where it stands, right? Normally the bishop doesn't go there in these kinds of positions, but just based on how the game developed, it landed there, so I want to use it. Okay, so h3, a little weird. I don't understand h6. He's giving you time. Knight h2, okay, e8. Bishop c8, good move. So he understands that bishop has got to be fixed. Bishop c1, okay. King h2. Bishop d1, a little weird. Again, if you're going to play for f4, you need to play g3, f4. f4, okay. So this is a standard mistake because you are giving your opponent the e5 square and the knight gets to occupy it. And once that knight gets there, buddy, there's not much we can do. There's just not much we can do once that knight gets there. Okay? So this, we should say, is a standard problem for us. This is why if the pawn were on g3, I would feel completely different about this f4 move. Okay, snip, snap, knight e5. I'd rather be black here. Now let's just talk briefly from black's perspective. Black does have one little issue, and that is this knight still needs to find a role to play. So it wants to do something like that. Oh, terrible move. Absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. No, that's your good bishop, and you're freeing his amazing bishop. I don't like queen e7. I think he should just go back to g7. Or take on g4. Don't let him take your bishop on e5. Well, it's his bishop. So you got his bishop. And now this happens. And now he needs to fix his knight. So knight f6 makes a lot of sense. Good. King h1, that isn't it. Now, well, it's hard to know what to do, isn't it? Your knight's poor on c3. The bishop on d1 is poor. Now, he plays rook e7. I think he should be working overtime to get the knight to e5. So a standard plan would be queen e7, knight d7, knight e5. Knight h5. You moved your bishop away, and he said, all right, I'll take it. f5. I don't know about that. I don't know about this f5 move. Now, again, one of the things we're going to see is that this guy doesn't know about the e5 square. And when he plays f5, the thing for us to realize is, my knight on c3 is poor. My bishop on c2 is poor. When this guy plays f5, he is going to be at least activating both of those pieces, right? So we can be happy about this situation. Chess says, how often are these grad shows for plus 1,800 cohorts? Well, first of all, we usually do a one grad show. Chess, good to see you, by the way. We usually do one grad show for under 1,000 on Wednesdays and another one for 1,000 plus. And there's usually somebody who's up there in the 1,800s. Today we have a couple, as you can see there. Okay. Chess, by the way, is the author of some cool books you can check out with blindfold problems. Okay, so here we go. F5 looks very suspicious, and now you really go for it with G4. Very frisky. Now, he's being frisky too, let's just say. There's a lot of frisk happening here. I would want to look at the basic moves queen d2 and ef5. So ef5, bishop f5, queen d2. This is an issue. Do I understand exactly what's going on? I don't, but let's just continue for a second. Bishop c2, rook, knight, king. I don't know. You're not dead. All I know is you're not dead. So I'd want to look at that in my notes. And then the basic queen d2. No, but that allows knight, that allows knight e2. So that's no good. Yeah. Okay, so g4. Bang! Oh my gosh. Fe4. Do I understand this? Not necessarily. And then you play knight e4. Okay, wait, by the way, this is very complicated. If fe4, knight e4 is forced, then g4 is quite possibly the exclam of the year, because your knight gets to hold the e4 square. I mean, g4 might really be a huge power move. Absolutely, if it works. Dang. I mean, maybe it works. G4, I mean, if what happens in the game is true, that's a huge exclam. Because your knight is now a genius. Remember we were talking about how terrible he was? Look at that knight now. What a beast. Okay, knight f4. Wow, this is an intense game. Bishop d3 makes no sense to me. Why would we play bishop d3? Whew, what a position. I want to stress I have no idea what's happening here. I don't know at all what's happening here, man. My intuition is that we move the knight somewhere. I don't know where yet. I'm a little confused about it, but knight d2 would be a default move. Queen c3 would be another move to do. Bishop d3 is really weird because we're just putting it on a square where he can whack us. Say Chess, cool that you joined. Nice. So, I don't understand bishop b3. Now, this would be, it looks like you calculated knight d3. Let's go through your variation. Boom, 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 boom. Well, black is definitely on top. Now, it's still a little scary for the guy. But you don't, by the way, you don't want to trade queens here. You want to keep them on because your knight is still talking to him. See? And his bishop is still locked out. See, that's the point of this g4 move. You locked him out of the business. And my variation key one would be queen b2. No, this thing's hanging. Oh, man. Maybe king east. This is hot. This is hot. You definitely don't want to play queen d2. So bishop d3 was weird because it gave him the opportunity to exchange. But maybe, yeah. Just looking at different things that he might be doing to you. Okay. Whew. So bishop d7, a3. g5. Do I understand that move? I don't understand that move. So now we have to start looking about knight g3. Yeah. Anytime knight h3 comes, we're going to have a little checkaroonie on him. And some questions. Some big questions. Now, do I understand what's happening here? I don't want to claim I do, but I think this is very dangerous for black. And basically what you see with black is that black didn't have any ideas of what to do. So he weakened his position with g5. And here you kind of don't know what to do either, and you play b4. This is unclear that this is helpful for you. Rook e7. Black still doesn't know what to do. Queen d2. And are we... Okay, and now rook ef7. So here's your variation with knight d3. Rook, queen, king, knight, and you say rook a, but black is clearly winning now, right? And knight f4 isn't the only move. So this is a blunder, and you noted it. ef7, he doesn't see it. We might be in some time. Didn't we look at the time graph for a second? No, there was no time graph here because it was over the board. But we can very much assume that there was big time pressure here. What a mess. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, look at this thing. Oh my Lord. What a mess. Okay. Whew. Maybe I'll go through that last sequence. I'm sure this was time pressure. But actually, before we do all the sequence, I just want to stress what happened here is both players didn't know what to do, so they started moving pawns. And bishop d3 was also like, just think about it. You're just letting him smack you with knight d3 at any given moment, right? We don't want to let him smack us. I'm not interested in getting smacked, right? And then it kind of falls apart. This is how it can go. This is how it can go. Okay. Tough. But that was a very good game and graduation. Good notes. And where are we here? We're up here. This is next Brandon. Brandon says, very quick progression / graduation this time. Not too many new games for me. We'll try to have one updated before your graduation stream. Okay, here we go. Go take a look. So, Brandon hasn't quite made it, dude, on the ChessCom. It's 1285, but he's saying he's close enough. Come on, Brandon, get there first, buddy. In St. Louis, beautiful. Kostya's over there. Then we got some games, and it looks like this is probably, this one, maybe I've already looked at this one. The name Real Goyera rings familiar to me. Yeah, we looked at that one already. So, Brandon, yeah, get some games up, Bows. Get some games up. But it looks like you're doing great, especially the last, you joined in March and you've been crushing it since then. So that's a great thing. Okay. Bang. Next up, we have a Dojo 1.0 member, Angry Natia, it's either Angry Tangerine, I believe from South Africa. Afrikaans is like a Natia thing. But he has been with us from the beginning. I think he dropped out for a little bit and came back. And he says, I'm not sure if I should graduate because I feel like I had an unusually good run on my main account. The rating on my less serious account is a bit lower. Add to that the large gain because of the provisional rating, and here I am ready to graduate, kind of. I'll do it because I know there is nothing preventing me from finishing the work in my current cohort, and in the meantime, I get to play stronger players in the round robin. Okay, now Angry Nartia, I remember, was in the under 1,000 cohorts. So this is an amazing thing. Right, maybe he was a little too intense. Maybe he was too intense the first time around at the dojo. All right, so there we go. He came back to the dojo, has been working pretty diligently. That's looking fine. And it's a huge rating on Lichess. So that's a beautiful thing. The Lichess ratings are a little hard, and maybe it's still provisional, so maybe it'll bounce around a little bit, but still. Clubs, the Down Under Dojo. Maybe I was wrong about the South African thing. All right. Anyways, I knew it was it was the other side of the world time zone. I did remember that. All right, let's pick, let's see, there's got a bunch here. I want to pick this one just because it's a longer one and it's, or longer time control. So let's pick this one. Here's our time graph. And something I vaguely remember from last time looking at the Angry Orange was that he had a time usage problem. And that kind of suggests itself here too. Right? I'm jonesing for this time management rating thing, but it's really a mathematical problem creating the algo. And the boys behind the desk, they're working hard on the math part, and I just look at what they create and say, no. No, it obviously doesn't work yet. Okay, so let's go game review. And an arranged game with colors set to random. Uh-oh, this isn't working. Booms. There we go. Booms. There we go. Okay, here we are. So. Fine. Yeah. And now this very fancy Queen E2 move. All right. Okay. Now let me just say, for hundreds of years, people have tried to make the Scotch work, and it's a weird thing when they start playing Queen E2. I think I understand the intention, though, right? We're going to play Knight C3, Bishop E3, and maybe Castle Long. So obviously Queen E2 is weird. d6, knight c3, good. Bishop e3, great. Castles. So maybe black had other fancier things to do. I definitely think the white's position is dangerous here. For black, it's dangerous for black. It's dangerous for both sides, but I like the grip on the d5 square. All right, here we go. f3, bishop e6. And he writes, we are mostly developed, and it's time to start working on a plan. We want to get the king side pawns rolling, trade off the dark bishops, and move the king out of the way to b1. What I still need to learn is what to do with my rooks and light bishop. But hey, we play, gain experience, and learn. It says maybe it was a little familiar. Great. Now, what I would say in terms of just adding something to this is that a key point of g4, g5 isn't just to like murder the king. It might turn into a murder later, but the main point for me would be let's kick the knight from its valuable central location and then body slam him with knight d5 at some point, right? And we don't want to play knight d5 until we really body slam him with g4, g5. Okay, so I think g4 is fine. Played it quickly. Bishop e3. This was the first unexpected move. My opponent said they didn't know much about the Scotch. Capture feels premature and allows me to post the queen closer to the center. Good, absolutely. And I want to stress, I don't know what to do as black either. No idea. No idea. No idea what to do here. Yeah. But this is definitely wrong in principle, really from a development standpoint, because now the bishop and the queen are far more happier than they were the move before. a5. Okay, now we do have a question of how to play this. Personally, I like g5. Let's see what you did. Bishop b5. Okay. Angry writes, a beautiful square. The bishop is developed where it can't be moved and the knight is pinned. Okay. Well, black should probably consider a4 sacking the pawn, but instead plays bishop b3, which I think is a big mistake. It doesn't feel right anyway, because that knight on b3 was in many ways our worst piece. Fancy. Fancy. C takes b3. And on a b3, you write, opponent was surprised I didn't play this. I guess it does seem better because we are playing toward the center, but at the time I didn't see a difference. But this is the direction we capture in the opening course, and I don't see a reason to do otherwise. Okay. Summer of Solitude, glad you're here. By the way, I'm just going to make a little announcement. So normally I do this show at noon, but at noon we're doing a big dojo stream with Kosi and David. We don't even know exactly what we're going to do, but we kind of want to do a 4.0 stream. And so maybe we'll do some graduates with them to begin with. One thing I would like to hear is why C takes B3 is in the course, right? And the idea of the CB3s, and I immediately recognize it as fancy, is you are saying that after King B1, black will not have the chance at counterplay on the queen side. Now, I think black has blown it so big time with bishop takes b3 that both are very pleasant. I don't see a4 happening for black anytime soon anyway, right? But okay, so this is a fancy move. Queen e7, I don't know. h4, I don't know why we're not playing g5. We can play g5 and knight d5 and say thank you very much. Queen e5. Good move. So yeah, you're in firm control here. Rook g1. Okay, f4 right would be a mistake. I'm not sure I get rook e6. Good. Finally, king b1. Knight b4. Okay, now he's at least giving you a question, but... And does bishop d7... Yeah, what is the meaning of bishop d7? So, he did some analysis. Rook d5. It seems obvious, but it's so easy to miss this. Okay, right? Because we have queen d5, e d5, rook, bishop, rook. Right, we don't want that. So, bishop d7, knight d5. And then the question I would want to ask is, what about queen? No, queen d2, he's got knight b6, exclaim. Right? Okay. So, very spicy sauce for him to play knight b4. But wait, but wait. Can we make it simple? Oh, we cannot. We cannot make it simple because knight takes and he's got queen takes. Oh, man. So, knight b4, exclam. You're still better after bishop c4. Good move. Little spicy. Okay, this is all very hot all of a sudden. And then ab4, I guess, is just a blunder. Okay. And then bc4, you guys looked at it after the game. Good move. Queen f4, good move. And then what are we going to say here? You're better? Yeah. I like this note. Another horse show is about to commence. Okay. So, this is about to finish, I feel. And then he just resigned. Yeah. Okay. That was a very good analysis. That was a great analysis. And one thing I'll say that I think is inspirational, Angry Orange, is that I remember back in the day you were struggling in like the under 1,000 cohorts, and I feel I can say that this game was played on a very high level. And part of it was oftentimes when we do opening courses, we'll end up mucking it up because they'll tell us weird moves like CB3, and then we'll do those weird moves at the wrong moment. But here it felt fine for you to do that. And what's nice about this game is, for the most part, it felt to me like you just outplayed your opponent position, like your opponent was making positional mistakes. And honestly, at the level you're at, totally normal. 13 to 1600, they're going to play moves like bishop takes b3, right? Okay, so that was great. All right, let's continue here. We got Fibbits. Fibbits says, this is my first real graduation. I initially joined the dojo last fall and didn't really do much with it. Got serious about the training program in January and have been dedicated to it since. Really excited about the recent changes, particularly sparring with bots. I feel like trying to find a human sparring partner is, without a doubt, the biggest hurdle in the program. I'm happy I decided to try the training program. I've played chess seriously for a couple of years, and it wasn't until I went with the dojo training program that I felt I was using my practice time effectively. Great. Okay. So, this is Fibbits. Just a garbage chess player from Central Appalachia in rural Virginia. Wow. Okay, this has been great. Now, Fibbits, I very much encourage you, and I will help you do this because this is a thing I really believe in. That if you can get a scoreboard up for your team, right? Here at the dojo, that's a beautiful thing. Second, if you can get a couple of those kids interested, we will cut some kind of deal with you. We need to formalize how this is done, but we cut some kind of deal with you where they can come do it at a discount. So imagine, instead of just paying individually, you just pay for the whole team. Maybe you can get some funding from the school for that kind of thing. I don't know. And it's just a beautiful thing. We have Patterson High School, just as an example. They've been crushing it with the dojo. Totally cool. Totally cool. All right. So this is Fibbits doing great. And got a USCF, a tactics rating, all this stuff. He's played a good amount of classical games. Let's go clubs. What about a rural Virginia? Rural Virginia club. I've looked at the map down there, and it's just this, I'm from New Mexico, so it's just like, I know about expanses of land, but that land down there in Virginia, that Kentucky area, it just seems immense. Immense. Here we go, games. All right, looks like a real OTB game here. Let's click on this one. So first we got a time graph. No, it's kind of typical for OTB, but you can do it, as I say all the time. And we're going to go game review. Now, Fibbits is actually playing black, so I think we want to flip this. Okay. Notice I got over myself. I didn't say anything bad about A6. You're doing fine. It's a little weird, knight H6. A little weird, but you are developing. Okay. A little weird. Queen G3. Bishop F8. We don't like that. Now, maybe I got this wrong because this says... yeah, you are black. I'm just trying to imagine. Right. This move made sense to me at the time, since white has almost every piece ready to join the attack on the king side, and I have few defenders in the area. And you got a castle. It's not even a question, but you got to go. And guess what? There's no F5. There's no F5. There's no F5, Fibbits. Now, it's true. If he did have F5, it would be scary. So if you didn't see it, I appreciate your fear. I appreciate your fear. Though even then, let's just imagine it first. I mean, it's a weird hypothetical, right? It's a weird hypothetical, imagining if you didn't see it. And the rule should be that I'm going to yell at you so much for Bishop F8 that you should be like, I got to find a different move, or else Kraai is he's just going to be on me. It's going to be on me. I like castles long, for example, better than Bishop F8. All right, A4, playing on the wrong side of the board, so I don't know. But all right, maybe not so bad. B4, okay. Castles, okay. Knight G5, a little weird. This was a dopamine move. I might pick up on that terminology. This was a dopamine move. Yeah, I'm going to start saying that. Right. And when you don't like an opponent's move, you should say what you want him to do. I think your arrow is indicating you want C3. I like C3. I think knight F2 isn't dumb either. Dopamine. Now, one thing we should say is, I'm fine with what you did, but there's no reason to push the knight away. He's just a tourist there on G5. And one thing we want in this kind of setup for black is, in the closed Sicilian, our main hope for survival is just the fact that we control this square, that we can mess with him. So now the default move, I think, should be knight D4. Right? We're messing with him now. Castles didn't lose immediately to Queen G7, at least I didn't think it did, because on castles, Queen G7, we have Bishop F4. Now, how I evaluate this position, no idea. I don't know, but I just want to say I like this better than Bishop F8. Okay, here we go. F6. We'll bring the knight around. Okay. C3, good move by your opponent. H6, I don't know what you're doing. He should play Queen G6 now. D4. It's getting hot. G5. Well, commendations for the advanced chess over here with G5. Maybe. And then you blow with knight A5. So again, if you don't like knight A5, you should tell us what you think you should do here, right? Okay. He misses it, and now you got knight B3, you got bishop E4. You say thank you very much. Okay. You're doing fine. You can, the game has gone loco. The game has gone loco. Queen F4 is definitely the prudent move, however. Oh my gosh, what a mess. What? All right, I don't know what's happening. From this point, it's not a hard conversion, you say. Okay, I can get behind that. There we go. That's all. That's clean. That part's clean. Okay, so Fibbits. Good and interesting game. Now let me just say, with the under 1,000 crowd, one of the things I say is that there are three things that they need to do, right? They need to learn to take their time. They need on the clock. They need to develop their coconuts, and they need to stop hanging stuff. Here, what I want you to see about the bishop F8 move is you need to overcome it, and then if you overcome it, you will start seeing it in the opponents you're facing. Because at this level, they're not going to hang that many pieces, but they are going to play a lot of moves like bishop F8. I did a course on Chessable called Mastering Time in Chess. It's one of the requirements kind of around this level at the dojo. So just something to bear in mind, that when I wrote the course, the idea was very simple, is that if you can get good at exploiting moves like bishop F8, and of course not making them ourselves, that is the process for improvement, rating improvement at this level, because that is the gift that you are going to be getting consistently. Okay, great annotations. Again, put a club up. Put a club up from there in your town or your team there. Spider Zlatan's next. This guy's famous. He says, glad to be part of the dojo. Never thought I would reach the level I have so far. I hope to continue to improve, but if not, I appreciate the journey and I appreciate the dojo. Note, I did lots of tactics. I finished Common Chess Patterns and I did the 100 Tactics You Must Know, but did not mark the calendar much this time around. I have found that doing tactics and working on calculation has been the most beneficial to my improvement, especially in the last 100 ELO. Fair, I believe that to be true. Albuquerque, New Mexico, dude. Nice. Yep. I grew up in Santa Fe. We look down upon Albuquerque. We have a real attitude about it. His tactics are amazing. Maybe he plays at the Frontier Chess Club. Yeah, you know. All right, so here we go. Clubs. The New Mexico chess, dude. Thank you, Spider. Thank you for putting that together. New Mexico chess. Uh-huh. Oh, we got to get more than that going on in that club. He's in the heavy things club. Moms and dads. I'm with this guy. Maybe you know what? Hold on. Now, I'm just going to join this club. I don't live there anymore, but I feel like I have honorary citizenship. You know? I got honorary citizenship in New Mexico. He looked down on Albuquerque. Okay, here we go. I don't want to talk too much smack. Now, Spider, this is very importante. You're playing at too fast of a time control. Okay, too fast. So if we go, for example, training plan, and we hit classical games, here you can see the time controls that are the minimum that you should be playing. So you should be at 45-30, and you're playing 30-0. I'm going to guess it's a habit, right? You've been graduating like crazy, and you got used to this 30-0 format. So I just want to stress, We really want you to take it up a notch with playing the longer time controls. And, when you play in the dojo round robin or something, you're going to be playing the recommended time control. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Spider's at his son's pre-K promotion. Nice. Okay, so here's Spider. He can watch this later. And we got some time graph action going on. And we're going to say that's pretty good for both sides. Pretty good for both sides. All right, game review. And here we go. Take it away, Spider. Okay, I think knight f3 is more normal. Okay, bishop g3. I want to stress it's a cool idea to just let him take because you win a tempo. Good. Fine. Little frisky. All right, moment of crisis has arisen. I think this is a good idea for black. Okay, so you make snippos. Well, black came out of this pretty good, actually. And now you played knight f3. Makes sense. I think I like queen h5 better. Fine. You're playing very solid chess, though. Good. c5, very frisky. And you say, nice move. It takes away the d4 square from knight. It's a... I mean, he's encouraging bishop b5, king e7. This is a madman we're dealing with. Check. I would give him a check. Yeah, let's see where you want to live now, buddy. King e7. King b1. Okay, I think I'm okay with all this. Bishop e2. Okay. Now, I would be interested in bishop d3 because I would want to be... I'm interested in getting rid of some of the bishops around the guy's king. Now, bishop d3, you do have to calculate d4, talking to this taco, c4, and then I don't know exactly what's going on here at all, but I would just be interested in sacking my coke. I just want to look at it. I don't know if it's any good, actually, but I just want to look at it. I'm not sure about it. All right, here we go. Bishop e2, fine move. d4. Now, he's coming for you anyway, isn't he? Now, how did this happen? I felt like I was making claims that you were better. And maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. King e7. King b1. No, I still believe in your position here. How about c4 here? Bang. Right? Is it hot? Is the bishop on f6 strong? Yes, but we got to believe in your position here, Bob. You got some rooks. This guy might pop here. This king is loosey-goosey. And really, we need to crush this square so that the knight can activate itself either with e4, e5, or some kind of knight d2 stuff. All right. So now this doesn't look bueno, as they say in Albuquerque. Rook c8, what are you doing? Take on e3, buddy. Thank you. I hope you said thank you when you gave him the pawn. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going for a trick or something. Rook hd1, okay. Beautiful centralizing move. Check to the miserable king. And you analyze queen h6. I would call this an advanced tactic here, but it's a beauty, so we're going to show it. And then queen c8. Now, let's just say this all looked good. And you're doing just fantastic. Queen h4, maybe not. It's simply because on queen, take the coconuts. What are we doing? Queen b7, rook c7, queen f3. I didn't see this line, the line this deep. Yeah, he's just giving you all his coconuts. This guy isn't thinking. He's not thinking. Far Eastern soul like gets crushed anytime he sees a London. I mean, the other, well, okay. B5, I don't know. I don't like it for him. I don't like B3 either. Oh, no. Oh, no, what a mess. No one knows. Time for a check. Should be mate. Okay, so when we look at the time graph, I mean, your opponent was thinking, but it felt like there was a lot of nervy, impulsive decisions in there. Yeah. Okay, I got to write to my Discord friends over here and just tell them, you guys around? I'm doing the show. Come on when you're ready. Okay. So, again, we're going to do some kind of 4.0 graduation stream. Okay, next up we have Steph. Steph doesn't have anything to say, but did loads of work. Loads of work here. Joined at the beginning of this year, and you can see he's crushing it here. He is crushing it with the work. And, yeah, using the FIDE. Kind of, okay, and all kinds. It checks out. Let's see. French. One reason I love the clubs is if somebody's too shy to tell me something about themselves, I'll get to say, oh, maybe he's from France, Okay, so I like the coders. They say your basement. That was a nice touch, dude. Your basement. Okay, Steph, let's see if you got some games. You're working on a lot of tactics. Oh, and he's got loads. He's got an OTB game here. Let's check it out. And so, no times. Of course, I encourage you to put the times in. This is 60 plus 30. Let's give this a look. So, no, this one. All right, so some King's Indian attack stuff. Fine. Okay. Black can do just about anything. Sending the cavalry to the king's side is a common plan in the King's Indian attack, so I'm doing it because I don't know what else to do. Don't have a clear plan, and perhaps this position requires a different approach with c4, knight c3, bishop e3. My development is taking forever here. I don't like c4. My default move here would be knight c3. And then let's say castles, and then we're going to move the knight somewhere. I don't know where yet, and then we're going to go for it. Is it hot? Oh, it's very hot. All right. Now, you say your development is taking you forever because you played this way. Will Black play d5? Not yet. Rook e1, fine. So, well, okay. Rook e1, it's like you're committing to not doing f4. He commits to not doing d5, and now you go knight f1. It's a little weird. So one of the things to say about this kind of King's Indian attack thing, right, is your opponents can do a variety of setups, and you're just trying to get an interesting maneuvering game. A default for you here should be c3. And the point of c3 is not to play for d4, just to kill off this knight, right? Okay, knight f1 is played. I don't really understand it, nor do I understand h6. Okay. Weird. I don't know what we're doing. Queen d2, sure. Oh, that's frisky. Okay. Okay. Now, black is taken forever too, and so I have some understanding for this move. Some feeling. I have some feeling. But isn't f5 going to hurt? It looks like it's really going to hurt, doesn't it? one just basic thing I'll share from the beginning position is an advantage of this setup for black is the knight on e7 is technically worse than the knight on f3 because it controls 6 and yours controls 8. But in this situation, black is far more ready to break with f5 than you are to break with f4, right? So these positions are hard to play for white. They require like a subtle hand, and even then you're usually just getting a weird murky position. Okay, so f5 exclam, I think, looks good for black. Now your h3 pawn's in grief. Okay. Now you don't like bishop d2, but it's already a little painful, right? Maybe you want to play king h2. All right, black needs a good move here. He plays queen f7, and if I was black here, I would really take some time to try to knock you out, because, like, yeah, he's got the center, and it's time to start looking to hurt you somehow. Intuitively, I like knight cd4, and the idea is just very simple, that this knight is your best defender, and I want to get rid of it. And if I do get rid of it, I can get knight h4 going on, right? Okay, so queen f7. Okay, good move. And I guess knight g3 is in that respect a mistake, right? Good move. I mean, he set you up for that one. He saw you were going to play knight g3, and he did that to you. Boom. Now I guess we're lost. Okay. Well, now we're just toast. Okay. Yeah. So, very unhappy with that game. I don't know if I should continue with the King's Zenith attack. I need to look at Master's game to understand how it should be played. Now, okay, you could be unhappy with the opening. I get it. But also just recognize you get a position like this, you still want to play basic principles and thoughts. Knight d2 isn't the end of the world. I feel like when you give yourself a question mark with knight d2, it's kind of a little bit like you're saying, I don't feel good in this position, right? And I get it. This is, there's some interesting things going on. I think if I was white, like one thought could be knight c3, castles, and even h4. Pushing Harry the h-pawn. Yeah, a little spicy, but a little spicy. I don't know. Okay, and I just want to stress, it's a rich position, and you're going to get a rich position anyway in the game of l'échec, right? Yeah. Okay, so don't feel too bad about it, but it's like that was a weird move. That was weird. That was weird. And then that was weird, right? So those positional decisions are what got you in trouble. And I want to really stress, if you go studying this thing, there's so many different setups black can use. So the way you should approach it is like, study your games, and realize like you are trying to outplay your opponent with interesting positional technique. Right? And at this level you're at, they're not going to play that strong. This guy, I felt, played a very good game. Okay. So, well done. That's Steph. And now we have Solitude, who I believe is in the chat. So, let's see if we got any Discord people talking to me. Set up a Zoom. Solitude says, I started playing OTB last year and love it. We'll switch to FIDE as my preferred rating for selecting the cohorts when it stabilizes a bit. Lost a ton of rating in my last tournament that hasn't been updated at FIDE yet. Great work at the dojo. Thank you. Slowly making progress and still enjoying the Polgar puzzles with coffee and a chessboard. Best way to start a morning. Indeed. Oh, it is the best way to start a morning. So, here we go. Solitude. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't have the right tab there. So, from South Africa, first OTB 2024. Beautiful. And he's doing some good work. Look at this. Oh, he's doing some solid work here. Solitude is. So he's made it on Chess.com and definitely made it on FIDE. So we might see him again pretty soon. This looks like a very hard-won graduation, and something we just want to stress is, we appreciate all graduations at the dojo, right? But the ones where you really struggle for it, those are the ones that I am inspired the most by. Okay, so there we go, South African Dojo, lifting heavy things. We only got 23 members in this lifting heavy things, but I want to tell you, they are the people who are improving. Thank you very much. Okay, games. We got several. So this one is a beauty. This is a 90-30. Do we have time? We don't. I get it. After, it's hard to put the time in, but it is worth it. All right, we'll go game review. Does everyone start with D4 these days? Here's an interesting reflection I had. And I talked about this in a little bit in the Repertoire Spy video we did about our amazing new feature where you can see all of your opponent's online games in one place. LeeChess, chess.com builds a tree, blah, blah, blah. So I looked at Jack. He's our developer. He's about 2,000 ChessCom, right? And one of the interesting things I noticed was that he, just in terms of, I looked at all his black games from the opening tree, and it was something like 60-30 for, maybe even a little higher than 60, of E4 versus the other openings. And I was realizing what was interesting about that is I think the higher you get, the more of what I call the slime openings you're going to see, right? A little bit more positional openings you're going to see. Anyway, so that's just the thing. As you get up, you'll probably play more of the positional people. So far, so good. Fine. Weird, but okay. I think A5's okay. This is all weird to me. And now you play C6, E4, okay. Bishop G4. Computer doesn't like this move much. And you write, it's part of the usual plan when A4 hasn't been played. And you say Queen C7, most played move on LeeChess. So I would also like Queen C7, and I just want to put in my own words that we want to just play E5, and then maybe you can play Knight D7 now too, but we just have more flexibility. Like maybe we're now going to go Knight A6, B4, depending on what goes down. Now Bishop G4, it's never going to be like, you're not going to get a lost position because of this or something. But the computer won't like the loss of a bishop. Oh, big deal. Big deal. Good move. Good move. Now, DE5 is generally a mistake because this knight isn't great, but now he's giving you a square. He says, okay, bishop E3. Now, something I would like you to appreciate here is that if you have a problem, it's that this bishop is strong and these pieces are a little bit congested. This knight, however, is terrible, and this bishop is terrible. So white also has their own set of problems. Queen E7, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give this one an exclam. I don't know if it's the best move according to the computer, but it reflects a good positional understanding that knight needs to be improved. So well done from your opponent. I can imagine that another move. So what I want to stress with that when I say that is what I really like is the intention behind that move. If it's true that you're going to get knight c5, then maybe queen c4 first is even stronger. So knight c5, knight e6. But I think this is fine. He can just play c3 now. Very nice move. Very nice move. So he is doing great. I would say white's got a nice little plus here. A GM style plus. Knight c4, simple and strong. And now he does this move, which I don't feel great about. No, I don't like it. This relieves the tension. Maybe he's still a little bit better after knight b6, but I just don't like it. Why wouldn't we just play rook fd1 as an example? Another move that's frisky and interesting is rook fb1 with the intention of playing b4. Okay, so I don't like this. You said snip, snap, rook d7, rook d1, and now we want to play bishop f8, rook d1. It's probably okay. Hey, okay, this is making me a little nervous, giving him the d file so readily. Okay, and now queen c4. Okay, very spicy position. Makes sense. Bishop f1. And now you play queen e6. And you're right, I didn't calculate far enough. After all the trades, my opponent gets his rook in my territory. Right. So, by the way, I want to say, you are playing somebody, he's rated higher than you, like 200 points. And he's putting together a good positional game where he's got the two bishops and, he's got the file. You're not lost, but it is difficult. So queen e6. And now I think he has a choice because queen takes e6 also looks hard to meet. He does it this way. Boom, 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 boom. And it looks bad. It looks real bad. I assume it's lost. One of the things about these opposite color situations is when the reason they are so dangerous, people think of them as drawn, and it would be drawn if there's no rooks, is if white gets initiative on the light squares, or you get initiative on the black squares, it's like you're up a piece on those squares. Okay. We got a bunch of questions. Let me just see this over here. Kostya's going to come in to the Zoom. Oh, it's in the wrong. I want to put it over here. So, let's say start. Hey, Kostya, how you doing?
Hey, good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't have your camera ready at the moment, but I was thinking, how about this as just a process? How about we do a couple grads, me and you,
Yeah.
and then when David comes, we can switch, keep doing some grads, yada yada. Like
Let's
that.
do it.
And we can change the scene and layout, and I can bring in other stuff when he gets here. Okay, we had a huge week with the grad show here, Kostya. And let's go and look. We had 38 people graduating. Dang.
Wow.
And I don't know what it is, but there was the last couple of weeks where it wasn't so extreme. This one feels like they're trying to kill me. So I don't know.
Yeah. Hello, chat. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Twitch. I have everything open. Hold on. Let me switch to the YouTube chat as well. Hello, everyone. So 38 grads total, huh? Both sections?
Right.
Still though.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's 100 points.
Yeah.
So that's like 3,800 points were gained by these people.
Actually, Kostya's here, so kind of good. Maybe we can address some of these questions in the chat. I'm going to read Jim Inner Wayne, and I don't I'm not pronouncing that right. But anyways, the question is this, Kostya. Is there a software tool recommendation to build an opening tree for myself? I'm using Chessable at the moment, but I'm not so happy with the respective tool it provides as I need to make a course, which is very tedious.
Okay, so they're trying to make a whole course?
I guess they're trying to make a whole course. I'm a little confused exactly what he wants it for.
You said opening tree, so that sounds like they want to, I don't know, either look, I know you can search the openings you played on chess.com and Lichess using the Dojo Repertoire Spy, which is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he knows about that, but if the games are on chess.com and Lichess, then you can just search them that way. But it sounds like he's trying to like build like a thing.
Yeah. So if you're around, write your question out again, and we'll get back to it because I don't quite get it immediately. Okay. By the way, everybody, we're waiting for David. He's going to join us in a second. Let's go on to Esteban here. Esteban doesn't say anything. He might not have anything for us. Well, I'm going to give him a follow. And we don't know anything.
I just use ChessBase, by the way, for my stuff. I just still use ChessBase.
I use ChessDojo, buddy.
Really? For your openings?
I could use both, honestly. I could use both. I think Esteban, he just joined recently, and so I have a feeling we're going to see nothing here, Kostya.
Oh, I see Jim's question. Yeah, so like, I think if you're, let's say, a title player or somewhere near that, like 2,000 FIDE, then probably like ChessBase or some program. This guy here was showing me Hierarchs for Mac, which apparently works great. It just works differently, so it's hard to get used to for me, a ChessBase person. But if you're like just starting out, then like Lichess Studies, easy. It's just the simplest way. Like they have a database thing, they have an engine, so you can like quickly. I mean, I'm gonna make a video about this, I think, somewhat soon, because I mentioned in one of my recent vids on like basically everyone needs like a little opening repertoire of their own. You're just asking about a repertoire, where to store your repertoire. So if you're just starting out, I think Lichess Studies is easy because like, okay, you can access it anywhere, right? You can get it on, and then it's really easy to build it out from there.
David's joining us here. David, listen to this heresy, dude. Somebody asked Kostya, how do you do some opening prep? And I'm like, of course it's the dojo. And Kostya's like, well, there's ChessBase, there's Lichess Studies, dude.
I didn't say there's ChessBase. I said I use ChessBase. This is what I use.
Okay, if that's what he does, then that's what he does, Jesse.
Anyways, I'm trying to tell you, we've got a great database. It gets better all the time. And you can definitely use it for your opening prep.
You're trying to post that?
Yes, I mean, if Jim really needs to know, Dojo has all these tools and then some. But I mean, I was just trying to give an honest answer instead of.
Yeah, you should definitely give honest answers.
No, but the thing is, like, the Dojo site is paid, obviously, so it's available for members. So if you're a member, of course, I would suggest you use that. But I don't know if Jim's a member or not. So I'm like, okay, like, if you're just starting out, like, Lichess Studies is going to be the easiest way to go. I'm sorry, but that's. And I mean, there's also a chess.com library as well. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, David, let me propose a process. I think Kostya gave me a soft yes on this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I believe, graduations left. Some of them might be fake graduations, i.e. they go real fast because nothing is said. But my suggestion is we do those together, and then after we're done, we change scenes to bring everybody in, like the cameras and stuff. And then we'll do whatever we want to do for 4.0.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm going to read what Sacrificial Code says about us. This, by the way, of us three senseis doing the grad show at once, is, I think, a very useful process for us because we can kind of see the program in action together with 6 pairs of eyes. Here we go. Hitting the button.
Sorry. Did we do Esteban? I feel like we might have. Or
No, we did because Esteban just joined and doesn't have any games, doesn't have any
oh,
log
no
work.
games. Okay.
Yeah.
Get some games in.
Sacrificial Code says, hitting the button now. Was a bit hesitant to graduate with my OTB still being on the low side, but I see that 1400 versus 1500 tasks are pretty similar. I had undiagnosed Crohn's, making me sick between mid-January through April. That's brutal, by the way. I've known people with Crohn's. That's terrible. And didn't have much energy after work to do anything, including training. Feeling much better now, and I'm excited to start training again and playing OTB classical chess more frequently. Main goal is to continue improving and to get my OTB up in line with the expected USCF rating for my cohort. In terms of the dojo, I think the training that I'm doing is helping me improve. All the given tasks are reasonable and are the strongest feature of the site. Still find coordinating for sparring/classical to be a sticking point. Maybe it's an online culture thing, but I didn't see much scheduling for classical games or sparring in my cohort. And the activity overall in my cohort was quite low. Yes, I understand. I'm part of that problem. Okay. This was very apparent with the round robin that I participated in, where multiple people signed up, then withdrew quickly. My friends, I just want to say this is a real thing. I've seen this in many round robins now. And most participants either didn't respond to pings for games or didn't play any more than one or two. I was hoping the round robin would be a consistent method of getting classical games, but I'm still searching for that. I'll try to be more proactive in searching for game spars in the future, but any suggestions would be appreciated. Thanks, senseis. Well, I'm sure David and Kosi will say something about the round robins, but I just say, like, they usually, I go through all these tournaments, the round robins, they usually look great, but there's a couple duds out there. So, like, there's a couple tournaments where I'm looking at it and, like, nothing has happened. And then you get two people withdrawing, and then it just turns into a real sad mess, and then it feels discouraging. We are going to try to do more punishments for the people who withdraw,
Yeah.
And
I think it may be, Jesse, that sort of culture in that sense is contagious. So if one person starts not playing their games or not answering, it makes the other people in their round robin feel like, oh, it's not serious, it's all optional or something like that. Whereas if everybody kicks off by playing their games, then everyone else in that group is like, they understand that they have to play their games.
Yeah, and if we got rid of, especially if we have serial offenders, if we got rid of those people, or they had to pay some little fine, doesn't have to be an extraordinary fine, but just some kind of pain so that they don't do it again, hopefully we'll get less of those people.
Yeah, I would suggest another possible payment would be an apology letter that gets accepted by the other people in their round robin. So they have to write to everybody else in the round robin, apologize, and those people can say apology accepted or not. Wow, and then they're either allowed back in or not. They can try writing a better apology letter.
Okay, yeah, that's rough, dude. That's rough. That's like an Alcoholics Anonymous kind of approach, Go around to all the people and say you're sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, ChatGPT would not cut it.
Okay, we got Sacrificial. He's from Indiana, 26, data analyst, music nerd, chess enjoyer. Okay, joined the free site in 24 October and then paid site on 1 month later. Okay, so he is doing great. He's got a lot of work being done since he started. And very high tactics rating. Let's see, is he in Indiana clubs? Yes, he is. There it is. 20 members, Indiana, looking good. Games. All right. Now, he's got some 60, let's say, I guess the most recent one we could take a look at. Time graph. Let's look at the ye old time graph for a sec. We want to say, just on a superficial glance, well, it's not so bad. You're at 29. Yeah, you got we might wish for a little bit more time spent, but overall, we're not going to complain too much about the time. Okay. So, here we go. This is an OTB game. Looks good so far. Fine. We're following the dojo aggressive repertoire against the Sicilians so far. Thank you very much. That looks good. Pawn takes. Good move.
Cool. Hope we win this game.
D5 and now bishop E3, deviating from the aggressive repertoire since frankly I forgot the move. While this stops any advance to D4 and prevents and develops another piece, the E-pawn is probably better off being pushed to E5, which needs to be aided by rook E1. Okay, now I don't despise bishop E3, and I think the actual move in the course is F4 here. Yeah. Okay, bishop E3, and you're going to get the nature of the position here with F4. So I don't dislike what you've done. Then a mistake, and you note it as a mistake, right? So black's what do we want to call it? His trump was that he had a beautiful pawn center, and now all he has is a sad isolated pawn on C6 and continued poor development. Okay, you play bishop D2 in 2 minutes. I think bishop D4 is maybe something we should think about. I'm going to guess you didn't do it because of knight F4, but it's still pretty spicy after, say, queen F3. But all right, bishop D2, you got a great position. Queen F3,
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of queen F3,
Yeah.
maybe C4?
Good question. I think on C4, I'm a little concerned with queen B6, knight E3.
Queen B6. And knight E3. Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm one thing queen F3 does is it says, all right, if you want to take my B2 pawn, buddy, you can do it. I don't know if he should. I kind of think he probably shouldn't. But
not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Castles. And now C4 is definitely an option. He plays rook A, E1. And I want to say about that move that at the minimum, I like the spirit of the move because you're just bringing everybody, you're centralizing all your boys. Yeah.
Yeah, C4 there, queen B6, C5. I think it wasn't really enough for the pawn.
All right, bishop B4. Now, about this move, I will say I've seen a lot of games at this level, and what I've noticed is it's very hard for players to think about improving their pieces. Instead, they kind of want to reach out and create random things that feel like threats. So black needs to be focused on fixing the bishop, some kind of bishop B7, C5 stuff, and so he's just going to neglect it by creating some random weird threats.
But Jesse, I know that no blows have been struck yet. It's just been, the two players doing their development thing. But it looks like white might even be winning already before bishop b4. Like black's position looks super bad. I don't know what they're supposed to do.
No, I mean, this is the dojo aggressive repertoire, bud. You play D takes E4, it's not a good move.
So that was kind of the reason why the position's so bad?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But bishop b4 is just not good chess.
D is definitely quite bad as a move. I guess like our guy didn't make it, but DE4 for me, I think has been the biggest mistake by far.
Now I don't know if what he now shows in his notes is a computer move, but I don't know if I would have the cojones to do this. But let's just do this line here a second. Check to the miserable king, and then he's saying it's mate.
Heck yeah.
He's saying it's mate.
That's hella mate.
Yeah, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. And it's certainly what black deserves for his crimes in this position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, we'll say, I would say that's a nice advanced level tactic. And it's the kind of thing we should expect to find when our opponents make random moves like bishop b4, not getting their coconuts out.
But I don't think that was like I don't think that was so easy. Like I don't think that was the end of the line there. Like Black could have gone like e5, bishop g4, and then it's still like maybe you can evaluate that it's a winning attack, but I don't think you would. I think it's really hard to calculate it out till the
Yeah, like
end.
I said, you'd need some real cojones to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, C3.
But
All
I
in
mean, I think
c3.
once you see the idea, it looks very, very promising. I don't know how much you need in terms of cojones versus some kind of instinct, right? Or valuation calculation. Well, I mean, Black was even sacking back a rook on g8, right? Bishop h7 was untouchable. It looked pretty obvious that Black was going to lose.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like okay, it's a valuation thing.
This next annotation I really like a lot. So he labels this as a mistake. And one of the things to say about this position is we really need to start hurting this fool now, because if he kind of survives a little bit, our f pawn isn't necessarily the greatest. It's blocking our bishop. So in all these positions, we're dreaming of some kind of f5 or knight g5, fg, just to get our boy involved. So you talk about c4, good move. There we're playing positionally, right? And you talk about king h1. I like it. The thing I want you to see about queen h5 is g6 is in a lot of ways a move the guy wants to make, because he's blunting your power boy here. Is that a thing to call it, power boy? All right. f5, knight g5. Oh, and this is going to be very instructive because we are talking about the f pawn, and he, I think, rightly says that f g5 would be better. Yeah, interesting.
So the only piece of whites that leaves quite a bit to be desired is the bishop on d2, right?
Right.
So before queen h5, c4 followed by bishop c3 would have been
Sure.
the obvious variation, right? I don't know if it's best, but in a blitz game, it's kind of what you would just bash out. You'd play c4 and put your bishop on c3, improve your worst piece, and aim another guy at g7. And here, I think it might be a similar theme that fg is opening up that bishop a little bit, right? And just making the game a little more dynamic.
And honestly, I still want to believe in white's position after queen g5. I would be most concerned maybe about a queen b6 here. I'm definitely not concerned with rook f6. So actually, let me just stress the point. Black is doing this typical thing where they just are trying to create some random threats instead of fixing their junk. Bows. You gotta fix your junk, man. All right, c4 is very strong. You do queen g3. He finally plays bishop b7. And then you're getting, there's something, one of the things maybe to talk about in your annotations is why you were so afraid of c4. Here comes b3, c4, and now all of a sudden it's the forces have aligned against us here. Yeah. Yeah, so the milk has gone bad. Yeah, and then
Game turned really quickly once Black brought the bishop off c8.
and not only that, but this guy's going to be thinking like, "Oh, I was a genius, man. I did moves like rook f6 and lit him up."
Yeah, that's the real crime here.
That's a real crime. And honestly, he didn't develop the bishop until he could sense that maybe it would be a threat. That's the only time he actually developed it. Okay. So now, actually, the game turned around, so we have to keep going. Normally, I'd stop here, but somehow this game turned around. Rook e3. Of course, he's going to do a random threat. Okay. Okay. Bishop f3. Uh-oh. This is getting weird. Oh, and it says black resigns, but I have a feeling it meant white resigns. I think he meant white resigns.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good annotations. Yeah, and I think one of the things about any opening repertoire, but maybe it's especially the reason it's especially true for the aggressive repertoire, and what I mean by especially true is just if you go over your games, get a feel for that early middle game, there's going to be things to notice. Like the FG is so cool because you're recognizing that F pawn it's Federico the F-pawn. He's got his own set of dreams, and he needs to be set free. You know, he needs to be set free. Okay, let's continue. Next up, we have Jean-Paul. How do you pronounce it correctly, David? Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre. I don't know how to do it.
We have philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre.
Here he is. Okay, not a lot of work here. This might be a one where we just don't see anything. So Jean-Paul, welcome to the dojo. Well, we want you to do some work, buddy. We want you to do some work. All right, next up we have Manu. David's not going to tell us how to pronounce his name correctly. So Manu over here is crushing. We don't see a lot of work going on. But, so actually, you guys, this is an example, I think, of somebody who joined back in the day. So it says he joined at the end of 23.
Your views mixed up.
Oh, thank you. So he joined at the end of 23, and then, or middle of 23, and now he came back, but hasn't done really any work. No clubs. We got a European dojo. Oh, what am I saying? I take it back. He isn't logging his work, but he's done a bunch of games over here. Okay, let's take a look. So, but these are played ages ago. Yeah. So maybe he left and came back, but then hasn't done any more recent work.
Yeah, maybe just recently came back and graduated.
Yeah. Well, Manu, we hope to see you. We hope to see you, and we'll look at your games when you come back. He's back. All right, a couple more we got here. We got JW. He says, I need to get better about recording what I'm doing, especially if some work I end up doing doesn't fit in a need category. I write nothing down, and I am behind on submitting games. Okay, so here's JW. Let's give him a follow. 1,700, very impressive. And this is first graduation. Also joined in 23. But only recently started logging some stuff. Okay. Arkansas, buddy. Nice. Look at everybody going on here. Got the Arkansas going. Games. If you could create an Arkansas dojo, we would be very thankful. You know, you could call it the Bill Clinton dojo or whatever you want to call it, you know. All right, let's do this one.
Not an improvement.
Not an improvement? All right. So, we do have a time graph. Let's take a look. So there's a 45 plus 45. And we don't know what happened at move 30, but basically both sides stopped thinking at move 30. And actually, this time graph is very hard for me to even comprehend. I mean, it just goes straight down for white.
And then where do they get the time back?
And then
it's a big increment.
It's a big increment. So a lot of times, I don't know, we're going to see what it's like, but a big pattern that we see at the dojo games here is a lot of times people get to an end game and then they think it's obvious or something, and then they just start making impulsive moves without calculating. Anyways, that's what that looks like. We'll see. Sometimes somebody's up a piece and they're just playing it on. I don't know, but let's see.
I want to see what happened on move 30. That seems like that might be important.
Also, I would like between move 6 and 10, where white just tanked completely. Okay,
Yep.
CD5, knight d5, d4. Back in the day, in the old opening books, they concluded that this was an advantage for white. Though after bishop f5, I'm not so sure it's really an advantage. Okay. Now, after knight c6, it's definitely an
We don't see
advantage.
the game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. This is why I have you guys around.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. So this is what I'm saying. Back in the day, we called this an advantage. And bishop f5 maybe is probably what black should play. Knight c6 is going to get hammer blowed. Boom. 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 Look at this guy. He's just tearing him up. Bishop f3. So he plays gf3, and this might be a good example of the dojo working together where rag and goose says he should have played queen f3. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and just say that I think both are very strong positions for white. Right? You're better in development. It's hard for black to get off e6. I like gf, but I'm sure queen f3 is also a good move. Yeah. If I was going to be concerned about queen f3, look, this guy found it. That would be my concern. I still like white in this position, but that would be my concern, that black could somehow achieve something like that. So gf exclam. Oh, and we're starting to see where you tanked here too. You spent 6 minutes on gf3. In a 45-minute game, that's a little too long. Okay, that's a little too long, and this is where you start getting in time pressure. Because think about it, it's an intuitive move, whether you do either one. Queen b3, good move, simple and strong. b6, well, that isn't it, but it's hard for black. Dang, look at that. He can says
B6, like the last move you want to play.
Well, he's already in bad trouble. So he talks about this, and he's in kill mode. He should be. You're killing him here. All right, now he does a good analysis of this position, and so he is then caught a little bit with bishop b5, a6. Now, I still want to believe in white's position after bishop b5. I definitely believe in his position after e6. It's hard not to believe in his position after e6. Okay, so he got caught by surprise with a6. Still, queen a4, we got to believe in white. Got to believe. E6.
Well, this is concrete. After bishop b5, a6, queen a4, you can't be just certain on principle. Now you have to calculate.
Well, after de6, fe6, you could say, on principle, I'm crushing this fool.
Okay.
Because also queen e4 is possible here. Bishop e3 is a good move, though. All right, black squirms some more with queen c8. And now bishop c6, which we don't really like. Let's read what he writes. Low on time. And now we're going to see that white really... This was where we saw in the time graph where white really tanked. So now you talk about castles. Good. I'm sure queen e4 is also a good move. Both of those look like very strong moves to me. The issue, of course, with bishop c6 is we're trading off that beautiful dog. You're still better. You're still doing great. Okay. Okay. I mean, he's still working him good, right, guys? He's still working him. Maybe knight e4 here might be stronger than rook g1. Because now we get this little question. And now we should say that white is in real-time trouble. He's got 1 minute left. He's got 1 minute left. And the bummer here is now he just starts to create, let's call them superficial threats. This is okay, but then white really needs to play knight e4 here. And then we are really murdering black. We are really murdering him. But we got to play knight. Well, we don't want to do what we did in the game, right? Because this is allowing black to set up a little bit of a possible defense. You're still doing great.
I mean, after knight e4, bishop e7, I don't yet see exactly what white's doing.
Right, but you don't.
Question.
Yeah.
The pawn was hanging on b5 back there. Because the rook on a8 was hanging, so technically white didn't even have to play bishop c6 because the bishop was still protected. But if black went b5, then white just takes the pawn with the bishop back there.
Or queen e4, yeah. Actually, look, he writes about it. Strong player in postmortem asks the point of queen g2 was, and asked why not simply bringing out another piece in the attack. Great. Now, David's right that it's not, it's over. It's over. The simple path would be rook d1 followed by rook d7.
Yeah, that's winning. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You are in time pressure, so, you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. If anything, you should say, oh, I played too slow earlier, And this one, you should just say to yourself, that can't really be right because my queen was such an amazing piece on c6. All right, black.
Yeah, rook d1 to d7 is also very good without knight e4, right? You can just lead with that.
Yeah.
Also looks pretty powerful. Uh-oh. Black's
Actually,
queen.
have you guys heard of the principle of not retreating an active queen?
Sure, yeah. Russians don't retreat.
Well, I think it's a thing. If the opponent doesn't have an easy way to dislodge your queen, then it's more annoying for your queen to just be in their position.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think this is not an obvious thing. But there's a famous game, Nimzovich-Capablanca,
That's right.
where Nimzovich grabs this a-pawn with his queen, and then he makes his mistake of just bringing his queen back too early because it just allows black to recoordinate nicely.
Ooh, there's a bam right here, Jesse. Did he find it in the analysis? Yeah.
Yeah, you did, dude.
Good analytical work.
We'll show the bam. Boom.
Double bam. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in deep time pressure here. And, in time pressure, maybe you shouldn't even be looking for queen f8. And you should just play queen g2 like a normal person.
Well.
Oh, don't go queen g2, Kraai. Don't do that.
Right. Or you need to look for a way to end the game because the longer it goes on, the more blunders will come.
Well, he's
I
got
think
1 minute left.
Queen f8. I think you gotta find queen f8 because it's exactly what you're looking for. You want to trade queens.
Wait. I'll do as you do. But that's in time pressure. That's where you want to go. Queen h1. That's your move.
But then after queen e5, your opponent's got 3 pawns against the knight, and you're just flopping around.
No, I'm not flopping around. I got that square.
What?
Anyways, of course, I'm not debating the queen f8. I'm just saying when you're in time pressure, you want to
I would
just...
argue if you find queen f8, you'll win the game, and if you don't, you probably won't.
Yeah, if you get the 30-second increment, that's definitely a 30-second tactic. For this rating.
Okay, so he blew it. Queen g1. And now, I guess we're probably objectively lost here. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's toast. So here's where, when we saw their time graph earlier, that both sides stopped thinking. Bummer is we're going to lose the h2 pawn here. So that is very unfortunate. I think one thing we could say actually in this position is that we'd have better chances of holding this bad boy by, I don't know, actually it's really rough. Yeah, I guess we got to do something sad like queen e2. Now, at this point, by move 31, he actually has a little bit more time, right? And black is not going. One of the things I want to stress is when you play these people, they're not thinking. So even here, we have good chances to hold this just because this guy isn't thinking. This is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. It's all falling apart now. Okay, we'll stop it there. Well, good annotations. And in that 45 minute, we just got to move a little bit faster. We're coming out with our, I'll go back to the time graph for a second. We're coming out with our dojo time management rating, and it's designed mostly to address people who move too fast. But here, it's also going to punish you for going into the heavy tank like you did over here. Okay, beautiful. So, grad show, Sundance Kid is next. Sundance says, I became a dojo member last year, but never really made use of it. After a long break from serious chess, I am ready to get back into studying. Sundance is graduating into 1819, so that's pretty cool. Oh, you guys, here's a little piece of news. Say Chess rejoined the dojo. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, he came into the chat, was talking about how many times we get people, 1,800 plus graduating. So here we have one in Sundance. And look at that dude. He's almost ready to go again. He's at 1891.
Shout out to Say Chess.
Mm-hmm. You guys know chessassess.com?
No.
No.
Should we click it? Should we click it? Hold on. Let's move it over. I'll move it over here. Chess Assess, a website by Jonathan Browning. Okay. Oh, cool. He's got his whole thing going on. Okay, so we'll keep our eyes on Chess Assess. Okay, maybe he can come work for us. Maybe he's that software guy we need. Is he part of that yeah, SF Bay Area, kind of a spiritual home of the dojo. Maybe he could join the Coders Club. Maybe he can contact us with his coding skills. And Sundance, we're just going to say the obvious. For the program, we really need you to play longer games once you get up to this 1800, 1900 thing. And we saw this earlier in the show. People oftentimes just get used to the 30-0, and it's just their jam that they play in randos online. And we'll just stress that to make progress, it is mucho importante to play our suggested time control. So like 30-0 is for our really like first couple cohorts, then it goes 30-30, and then it slowly makes our way up. And Sundance Kid is in the chat, totally cool. And he is playing a 90-30 tournament starting tomorrow. And that's
Right
where
on.
he's got it in his notes here, prepping for a 7-round 90-30 coming up. So yeah, well, that's great. So we'll maybe see some of those games when you come back. Here's a time graph. And Sundance has a pretty good time graph. His opponent's terrible. Now, this is very typical. Playing online, you're going to play some people that just are not thinking at all. I'll go to the game review. Okay. Okay, fine. Good. And now F5. All right. So I actually played G5 against Larry Christensen in a U.S. championship game ages ago. And all I can tell you is it's a mess. It's a real messy mess. Yeah. Okay. So F5.
But F5 looks weird, right? I mean, it's rare, at least.
I'm trying to think about why I dislike it so much. So.
Do we have Passant on our site?
The sun on our site. Kostya's brother came on the show once and said, you should always do en passant because they might not know about it and get really freaked out by en passant. So, all right. He takes, which seems reasonable. And now he snips on c5. And he talks a little bit about knight e5. And gives kind of a long variation. These are great notes, by the way. So dc5, I think I can get behind. By the way, I think a lot of times with a move like f5, it's not like he's losing or anything. It's just that you might get a nice position, but no, not necessarily something crushing.
Yeah, I don't see any obvious evaluation or variation or anything like that.
Now here, this is important with the engine. He's talking about b4, and this is an engine idea I've seen, as a French player a bit, but it's important when you write it. what the idea is. And I think it's a little bit, it's a little surprising for us old-time French players. The point of b4 in a lot of these positions is to play b5 and kick the knight on c6 so that it can't fight for the e5 square, right? So it's a little bit counterintuitive because, obviously the pawn on c3 is permanently weak and yada, yada. But the battle for the e5 square is really what this is about. Okay, so knight b3, natural. Bishop d6, and now you play rook e1. Also a natural move, right? And you talk about c4. I like it. But rook e1 is certainly natural. And now you play knight bd4, which you don't like. Now, I get it that you don't like it, but it is still a natural move. You are fighting for the e5 square, right? And you give a very nice long variation that maybe is definitely thematic. So let's go through it. e5.
There's a problem with knight b4. The only reason there's a problem is because black can play e5 despite knight c6.
Yeah, let's look at this beautiful variation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good variation. Queen h4.
Yeah.
Black would also have to make sure about like the rook h5s of the world and stuff. But yeah, it looks great for black. Okay. So this is one of the things about the French, and one thing that variation highlights is rook e1 always makes f2 a little soft.
Yeah.
So your opponent didn't see it either. And, it's one of the reasons the French is so cool, man. White's done all the natural moves, and then he's getting hosed after e5. Okay, a6 is definitely a big blunder. And then you just said thank you very much.
Yeah, of course, White didn't have to take on c5. Although I feel like it wasn't wrong.
No, it's still fine. Yeah, it's still fine. And the c4 thing that the computer came up with is honestly a little bit. I mean, it's not the first thing that comes to mind, right?
Well, you don't want to let black play e5, right?
No, I get it. I'm just saying it's just not the usual thing that you'd be thinking about.
Jesse, it looks like Kosi and I both had echo when we.
I can tell you why that's the case too. It's because I don't have my little headphones in. I gotta get my headphones. We are gonna do, our intention, by the way, is we're gonna do a longer stream. I gotta find my headphones. We're gonna switch the scenes too. This was an impromptu thing with just finishing off this business. I'll tell you guys what, let's do this. Let's finish this game off. Then we'll take a break. I can finish off the rest of the grads, and then we can come back and do whatever we want. And while I'm finishing off, why don't you guys think about what you want to do when we reboot? Knight g4 isn't it? And look at this one. Bang! Oh, man, nice move. Well, that isn't it. Bam! Oh, no. And then he just rudely says, I'm not interested, Bows. Queen h4. Bam! Oh! Take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. Okay. I am going to get some headphones. What would do you guys, also you guys could stream it too if you want. I'm very flexible. What are your thoughts there?
No preference on my end.
I probably can't stream because I'm on a laptop. I mean, I could, but it would be a while. Maybe I could.
Do you want me to do a setup with like a board, or what kind of setup do we want?
I was thinking we could work on our tactics progression thing.
Okay, so like a empty screen, then I put your screens in, and then we screen share the doc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could do that. All right, everybody. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of Hadoop. Okay, I have to do a little bit of Hadoop. Maybe. All right, let's use this one. And now I'm gonna add. I apologize for the echo. I can fix that once I get this figured out. Le zoom. Maybe I can stack them. I can stack the Kostya and the David. Something like that. That looks okay. It even has their right names on there. Okay, genius. Kostya, why don't you tell him a story? I'm gonna go to the potty. I'm gonna set this thing up, and then we will do our show. Tell him a story about Europe.
Story about what do you say?
Europe.
Something from Europe. The continent he misses.
Well, let me just say hi to chat. How's chat doing? He might be next week, so maybe I shouldn't talk too much.
Maybe we shouldn't talk.
Oh, we're on. We're on camera now. I like the radio. Radio way. That was fun too.
That last game that Jesse was showing us from Sundance Kid, I was thinking that after Bishop H7, maybe Black could play King H7, Knight G5, Queen G5. It looked messy.
I'm not sure what position you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few moves before this, but White played like Bishop H7 check tactic, but Black didn't take. So much echoing. There's no tab being repeated twice. It's just our audio coming out of Jesse's computer and then going back in his mic, we think.
Okay, you guys, look. I'm gonna put my mic on free so you guys can talk. It won't echo, and then I'll be back with when I find my headphones.
Yeah.
Okay. That's smart.
Here's the game.
All right. How's it now? If it's still echoing, then we might have a different problem.
If it's still echoing, then somebody's got something going. I am trying to watch the stream to see the position Jess is talking about. It's still echoing.
What?
We got a major problem.
Okay, you guys say something.
Hey Jesse.
Okay,
Testing.
I think I can fix this.
Chat was saying that even when you walked away after disconnecting the mic, it was still echoing.
Okay, but I think it might work now. Tell us now, Chad. Have I kind of sort of fixed the problem? Dale's Karma says, okay, good. Yeah.
Better? Fixed? Nice. Great. Okay.
Kostya, how strong is the tournament in Italy?
Not very strong. I'm the top seed.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no,
So
Kostya.
you'll just be having fun.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna try to win every game.
And Matt Chess is gonna, not Matt Chess, but Matt is gonna be there. Houseline.
Yeah, he's playing as well. Yeah, hopefully will be some good content.
All right, everybody. Kostya wants us to do something really boring. He wants us to do something really boring, but we're gonna do it. It's okay. It's kind of it's for the true nerds out there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just grab this thing here. Okay, so
It's a good time to mention that people can get 40% off the training program if anyone's interested using code DOJO, ChessDojo.club.
Wow. And you can pin messages in Twitch chat.
Yep.
that's being super annoying here. Super annoying. No, I don't want that. I want this. I want that. Okay, good. Okay, my friends, this is a Google Doc. All right, we'll explain it, and then I guess we can get into it. So,
Oh wait, let's use the other one. I shared with you guys a new one.
oh, okay.
Sure.
Where is it shared?
One sec.
Wow, Kostya, you hear that? Dale says that you're showing up on Facebook pages.
Yeah, I think we got some Facebook ads. Or
That
something.
is a lot. Wow.
Dojo tactics progression. Good. Let's see how this looks. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Dave or Kostya, I have to get something to drink. You tell the people what is going on with this thing.
Okay. Yes. Alrighty, folks. So we are working on a tactics progression in terms of books. We've got the books that we recommend in the program. I think that's the starting list here. But then what happens is that people read the books and they're like, I don't have enough to any more tactics. I need more tactics. I'm hooked. I need more puzzles. And so we need a supplemental list of books for every level that people can turn to when they're done with their main recommendations.
Yeah. This is something that we've worked on like 7 occasions in the last 2 months, including in our joke meeting, in our fake meeting. We tackled this as well.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this, huh? So yeah, I think we have some books already. And but probably there's some levels that could use more. Yeah, people are finishing the tactics books. They're just like blasting through them, bang bang. I mean, I think this list is pretty hardcore already. Some of these books, it's like a challenge just to even get them. So it's like really. Yeah, so we make it. But also there's like a bunch of good books that I think we don't have on there yet, too.
Yeah.
Okay, Kostya, I have a question for you.
Yesterday.
So with this
Yes.
bad boy, like, we are, you've included the program books as well. And so this is then for the video, but not for the progression thing that Jack wants us to do, right?
I thought this was I just started with the list we had,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought this was our program list, but I'm not sure.
Um,
I just copied whatever we had on the
oh, got it. So this is without any of the stuff added. Yeah, okay. This is without the stuff added. Got it. But what we want to do in terms of work, right, is add stuff, right?
Yeah, like the additional books, I think.
Well, why don't we just kind of freestyle it a little bit? Like, I'll add some, maybe we'll start at the top and I'll just add some stuff that kind of sort of makes sense to me, and then we can take it down and do whatever just as a rough draft. So here's a hilarious book that you said you hated in a famous video years ago. You said it was terrible. And that's Bobby Fischer Teaches Chess.
Oh God.
Yeah, that book sucks.
Sucks.
I don't think it's that bad. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. I mean, if you want to learn that like one tactic, it's like great.
Okay.
Like 300 pages of the same tactic, like queen takes f7 check, rook e8 mate. Like,
Another book that we got rid of that could be a supplemental book is those Tactics Times books for the lower cohorts. And people also mentioned, I think Timpa wrote in, and it was talked about the steps. I'm not familiar with that, but that's something that we could put in there for additional work.
yeah. I'm not sure about tactics time. I mean, I feel like we took it out for a reason.
People, like, there was a couple mistakes in it, but I mean, in general, it was exactly what is missing from the chess literature, which is a volume on very basic tactics. Right? So it was good in that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in fact, like, kind of with the lower tactics, my mind goes a little bit blank, honestly, on literature that's been produced specifically, and I'm just talking about basic things. I want positions where somebody's hanging a piece,
Right. So really simple ones. Yeah, they all kind of start a little bit harder, huh?
We found something like that on the street the other day. For a workbook for kids, where you sort of draw an arrow to the hanging piece. I think it was spiral bound. And the kid had done the first 20 pages or so.
I am finding random books online.
I mean, I do feel like for this level, like online tactics are gonna be fine. Probably easier.
Okay, but I kind of agree, but let me just put the counter argument. First, like, as part of the program, they have to do it anyway. But let's just first say Puzzle Rush, right? So if you're at this level, you're not going to be able to do that many before it gets hard, right? And then you run out of time. And then with survival too, like, at a certain point, it's just going to get really hard. So you can't get what I think Everyone's First Chess Workbook does, what Tactics Time definitely does, and my memory of Bobby Fischer is that it's giving you like a volume of puzzles that you just kind of have to, they work through, and they're at your level.
Yeah, I mean, you can just do puzzles like the regular way. You don't have to do the puzzle rush.
True, that's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the regular way would be to do it. For that level, you need to do thousands of problems, probably.
And the online ones are good in the sense that they do have a lot of these like stupid positions where it's just like a piece hanging and like no author would put it in a book, but it's like it's a good puzzle because it's like you still have to you have to
Yeah.
find it. So, yeah.
What I like about all of the tactics in our program is they are a mix of online and offline. And the value of the offline to me is that you disengage from your computer for a half a second, right?
Sure.
And so I'm just going to add a couple other ones. Again, this is just a rough draft. So we got chess tactics for scholastic players. This looks reasonable. This is by a dude named Shen. Do you think test your chess IQ is much higher, David? Actually, yeah, we should.
What about it? I wasn't putting it in a level yet. I was just
Oh,
listening.
okay. I was kind of actually maybe we should maybe like column D should be the level roughly of what we should be talking about, right? So, for example, EFCW is our so this first one, right, is 0300, and then obviously then and 4 to 5, 3 to 4, excuse me. I believe that's 6 to 7.
So there's 3 volumes to this Lipschitz series. I think they were intended to be 14 to 1800, 1800 to 2200, and 2200 plus. But as I'm thinking about it, I think everyone's gotten so good now that we should maybe subtract 100 points, basically for rating deflation or just the general level of chess having gotten better.
So this was I remember just the one, the test your chess IQ, and my memory, David, was that had a lot of positional puzzles in it.
No, it's all tactics.
I'll try to do something fancy here.
Each page has 6 problems as like a test with a suggested amount of time. And they're pretty decent. But I might take 100 points off of the suggested ratings.
You guys are Google Doc masters. I just need to push this guy's down somehow.
Okay, I got it for you. Like that?
There you go, buddy.
Do you want to space them out a little bit as well?
Sure, do whatever.
You want to remove the quality chess puzzle book?
No, quality chess puzzle book's fine. It would be supplemental.
Well, yeah, I should go to the other column.
Right. So people listening, just so you don't get too bored out of your mind, we put that into the program, and then we're kind of forced to take it out because it was very hard to get. I don't know why they make it so hard to get, but they made it very hard to get, and so people were like, "You got to get rid of that thing." So we had an emergency meeting to get rid of the thing. 10 points for Gryffindor. That's right. So, chat, we are interested in books that you like or remember from your chess upbringing, and in particular, where we're lacking are books that are not super hard. So, we actually have a problem with books, a lack of books with puzzles that are for the under 1600 or even under 1800 set. I thought we had a telling problem, I felt, with the issues we were having with Woodpecker, where part 3 is much harder than the first two, as well as the Chess Tactics from Scratch puzzles, where some of them are very difficult. Yeah.
Hey, Anthony, what's up? Hello. We could do something else, but we don't. I never said we had to.
Well, Celebration 4.0 stream. Talk about get in the weeds with some books, buddy. It's possible. David.
Oh, Excelling at Chess Calculation. That's a really good book. It's hard, but I would read it with like a board and pieces and play through the examples. Yeah, maybe Heisman has some good books.
Here, I'm gonna move the Test Your Chess IQ here. So, Kosta, you are dreaming about doing this video. Was there a reason you were especially drawn to doing a video? So the idea of the video, right, is to produce a long list of books from the very bottom to the end.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about doing it for some time, so I've got some thoughts on it.
Well, tell us your thoughts, bro.
Well, I just think that there's a good list to be had in terms of all the tactics books one needs to get to a high level, and someone should put out a good list and kind of explain it.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very much needed content.
One of the things I think is interesting about the problematic nature of ones that are below 1800 is if you have a book and it has some easier problems, let's say you're 2300 and there's some problems that are easier for you, that's great. That's great if you have some easier problems. But if you're lower rated and you have a book that has a whole chunk of problems that are just basically unapproachable for you, well, that's a problem, right? So I think the model where you have a wide variety of skill level in the problems is almost universal, right? Like, almost all books have that kind of gradient. And the good ones too. Like, I think Chess Tactics from Scratch is a great book. Same thing with Woodpecker, but the skill gradient is pretty extreme.
Yeah.
And this other one that I was about to look up, the old informant combination books. I don't know why we didn't have that. Maybe it's because it was hard. But that one's similar. It's got, I don't even know where to put it. I'll put it at 1900 or something, or 2000, but that's got a wide variety of difficulty level as well.
Yeah, there's no shortage of books for advanced level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Encyclopedia Chess Combinations. That's a good one.
Oh, and then Kostya, at the very beginning of the program, you liked, what was the name of that thing? The Russian book. I have it somewhere too. CT Art. You were a big fan of CT Art, right?
Well, that's an app, but yeah.
Well, it's also a book. No, it was a book before it was an app.
Oh, the block book, Combinative Motives.
Yeah.
All right, but let's check. It might be hard to get. It's on Amazon for
$3 million.
$100.
That's funny. I have that book somewhere.
It's worth money. But it's also on, no, it's not on Chessable. But it's available via CTR.
Mm-hmm. And it's just an app, that took those puzzles and put it in the form of an app?
I mean, partly, I think now they have a lot more puzzles. But yeah, all the puzzles are like chosen by a human and really good. They got a bunch of apps. They have tactics for beginners, intermediate, advanced. But I think a lot of the puzzles are based on that book.
Yeah.
I would add the manual of chess combinations. Volume 2. And then volume 1 somewhere.
the old Reinfeld books are super cheap and easy to find. $5, $3, come on. Those books you used to see all around. They used to be around all the time. I'm sure
They still are.
someone's selling them on
Still want
eBay.
them.
Oh yeah, Yusupov books are good. We could add the Yusupov books. Those are kind of a mix of stuff, but it's a lot of solving.
I don't know anything about it.
They're
I think I read a
Pretty tough.
couple, and they were at a pretty high level.
yeah, I think they
The
start
ones
like
I happened to see.
1700-ish or so, and then they go up.
The ones I read were probably more like 2200 level.
Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe the easiest ones are okay for 1700, but just like the first ones. But those are good. They would fill up some room.
So when we imagine this supplemental list, we're thinking like maybe like roughly. Oh yeah, I'll put a proposal out. It should be roughly the size of the current program, and should have the whole range of the program as well. Right. So if we imagine in the program we have something like 44, a little bit less, let's call it 40 books, and everyone's first chess workbook is chopped up. So if we created a supplemental list with around 40 books for all levels, then that's what we're looking for.
I think so.
This Winning Chess Exercises by Coakley is one that Ben Johnson's Perpetual Chess really liked. Honestly, it was weird. I think when we did our best books podcast, he threw that in there. Like one of the best books. Like, oh, Winning Chess Exercises for Kids? An amazing book? Top 10 or something? Okay. But then I think we tried to put it in the program, and then there was a little bit of pushback where it was like, this is marketed for kids, bro. What are you doing to me? I think that was the pushback. But that's, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good book though.
Guys, this excelling at chess calculation, what cohort is that in? Because I'm not finding it.
Selling a chess calculation.
I don't know if it was added in.
Okay, because I see combination play and combination play 2 in there, but I don't see excelling at chess calculation in the website scoreboard format.
I see excelling at combinational play.
Yep.
Is that the one
Two
you're talking
of those.
about?
No.
Look over here on the left, Jesse, in column B. You've got the combinational play 1 and 2. I do see those in the scoreboard format, but I don't see this one up here at line 25. I don't see this anywhere.
I don't see it either. Costa copied that. I don't know where he copied it from.
So that might be an extra book right now, Kostya. I can move it to the right column.
Yeah. I think there's a few books that aren't actually.
That aren't necessarily in the thing. So
I
I'll
just
move it.
copied it from when we met a few days ago. You told me to copy this list, and then I moved.
Yeah.
Oh. So excelling at chess calculation is, holy moly. Agard has written so many books, dude. So he's got combinational play 1 and 2, and then he's got excelling at chess calculation 1 and 2. The guy's a busy man.
I think it was just one. I don't think there was a second one. That was
I'm seeing 2.
excelling at chess calculation 2.
Oh, I get it. Okay, wait. Yeah, you're right. So we just have 1. I don't know where to put it. Maybe, I'm sure it's not basic.
I would put it 1800.
Okay, so where it's at, really. It's at 1900, let's see. We'll just write this out so we know what we're dealing with. Calculation. Agard. People are really getting to see how the sausage is made over here at the dojo.
Oh, Shanklin is playing American Continental.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's actually quite strong this year.
It starts today, right?
Tomorrow? It's like tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a qualifier for the World Cup.
Wait, and there's a third Quesada Perez? Did you guys know about this?
No, come on, dude.
No.
There's a 2546, Luis Ernesto Quesada Perez.
What about you, Costa? What after you're coming home? I assume. Do you have other plans after your big European tour?
Okay, I'll be home for the National Open as a
Nice.
visitor, not to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be streaming game analysis from the event,
Yeah.
so that'll be fun. I think a lot of dojos are going to be there actually, so
Yeah.
we'll have some meetup for sure. And then I'll be home after that.
And David, you're about to leave for Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dang.
Will not be playing a ton of chess over there.
Well, while we're doing this, maybe it's a good moment to talk a little bit about the future dojo talks as well, because with Coast to Gone, we haven't done that many.
Yeah.
But we got to get back on it, dude. All right, first question, David. Have you received or started that Willie Hendricks book?
No.
Do you want to not do it? You got to let me know.
I'll probably get it. Yeah.
Well, bud, I mean, we got it. It's either yes or no. Because I told that guy I was going to do it, and I want to finish. I want to get on it and do it myself. If no one else is going to do it, I want to do it.
Yeah, you can schedule it. I'll join you.
Wait, but you got to read the book to do it, though, bud.
I'll read the book.
Oh, God. All right. Then we have also Dana McKenzie came out with a book. He was on the Perpetual Chess podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. He talked a little bit about us.
Nice.
And he's got a book that I told him I would read and do some kind of interview with him. So I have a feeling you guys aren't going to read that, but that's also on my agenda. Then also with guests, somebody wrote down doing Elizabeth Shaughnessy. She would do that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
We got to do it before
Man,
she
you're reading
kicks
a
the bucket.
lot of books, Jesse.
No. No, I'm not reading that
Have you
many
gotten
books.
Have you gotten The Way of Kings yet?
The Way of Kings. Oh, I got it, dude. But
Yeah.
I think that's more like a summer read.
Okay.
Because and honestly, I'm just gonna say the first page was a little daunting because like 400 different types of creatures were named, and I was like, I can't keep track, dude. There are a lot of creatures in here.
Takes a little while.
A little while. It's gonna take me like 2 summers to read that book. That thing is like gazillion pages, dude. Yeah. But I did get it. And speaking of books, I'm really pumped to read the Danny Renf book. I think if it's well written anyway, I think it'd be fascinating for his background in the cult.
Yeah.
But I think that book isn't, it's like being pumped, but it's not actually coming out for a while, I think. Right? Dark Squares, How Chess Saved My Life. Pretty good title.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pre-order it. It's coming out September 16th. That's ages.
Oh, wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Dang, Danny, it's not a movie.
Tantalizing.
That's not tantalizing. What are you doing, bud? All right, so that's going to be more like September, November or something. Yeah.
What are they editing it? Release the book?
Yeah, what's going on? I don't know. I did, I think it's been going on, it's been a saga forever, I think. Like, he was going to do it before the chess boom, and then he put it to the side, and then he got to it. Here's one I would really like to do. This dude, Thibault, I'm not pronouncing it right, but that's on our list here too, right? And David, do you have contact? Do you think that you could contact that guy?
Which Thibault do you want to contact?
Well, isn't the Thibault the guy who designed Lee Chess?
The guy who started Lee Chess, yeah. Okay, I could reach out to him. You want him to come on as a guest?
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
podcast?
that would be an amazing guest to have on the podcast too.
Okay. By the way, Jesse, multiple people in chat are telling you that The Way of Kings is great.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I mean, we had basically our lead developer Jack claiming that it saved his life, dude. And so,
Yeah.
even if I decide it's not great, I will have an insight into Jack's life.
His own version of Dark Squares.
Dark Squares, right? Yeah. Also, we have on this John Donaldson. I'd love to have him on. Was there a particular reason we have him on the list, like an action item to discuss, or just like in general?
Oh, I think he would be a great guest because he knows a lot of chess culture. I hadn't picked a specific topic,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be a good guest.
but between chess culture and chess history,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot
Well, he
of
wrote
options.
that massive book about Fischer, so he knows everything about Fischer.
Yeah.
Well, I did I did a whole interview with him. I did a review of that book ages ago. I'll say it all right here, Jesse will comment. Then very soon, David, we have to do our June 1st top 10 list.
Yeah. Oh, and while you guys are there, while
Yeah.
you're both there, I just wanted to tell you that we should update what our junior teams look like because my juniors are having a good month. So we should just check in on it.
Okay, yeah.
They're having a very good month.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think I had Christopher Yu on my list, but I'll tell you what, that guy's not having a good month. Dang.
Well, on the FIDE rating list, he's got a good month, but he may again have a stretch with any points gained or lost after
Yeah,
that.
dude, that guy's having a rough month, man. Dang.
His stock is dropped.
I mean, he just won first place in this tournament. Is one of the best results of his career,
Well,
right?
I think it's by far the best. Yeah.
Did one of you pick him up? I don't.
I don't think I did. So you guys might have.
Okay.
But
I didn't.
And he was left a free agent.
Yeah, but one of my aces in the hole is coming up. If you guys want to see the danger coming, Zemlyansky.
Oh, you drafted him. Oh shoot.
He's on a tear, 3 tournaments in a row, just back to back to back. He's played a chess game like every day for the last 20 days.
Yeah, I saw him on Kramnik's radar.
Hmm.
The other days.
What about Kramnik's radar? Where's that?
Must be good. I don't know. I mean, this kid, he won some Blitz tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think an OTB Blitz tournament somewhere ahead of a bunch of strong players. And then someone posted about it, and then I saw Kramnik was like, commenting.
Oh no, Kramnik thinks he's cheating?
No, of course not.
No. Okay.
How could you say that?
Okay. Did Kramnik find his results interesting, or did he say like Russia's got a new talented player?
I don't. What's the difference?
Well, what would he say if he thought somebody were actually good at chess, or has that never come up?
I don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
I just don't know. No. He said something very cryptic. He's like, "Those who know." Like that's what he said. So kid's good. Kid must be good.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that this kid's been on my radar for a while. And he's going to be very good.
Nice.
here's a bunch of other topics I think are great. We didn't do Spassky because no one's written a good book on Spassky. So I feel like that's a real bummer. For me anyways, that was the reason I wasn't too pumped on it. Then we have Hardest Chess Books. I think that would be a great podcast. Got Best Chess Humor. No one liked that one. No one wanted to do that one. And then possible to talk about chess philosophy. I think that's a great one, dude. Hendricks will have something to say about that too. Someone wanted us to do, can Neiman become world champion? I saw somebody in chat also wanted us to do that. State of women's chess, that's a good one. We got best tournament. Yeah.
2 of my juniors tied for first place in the Asian Championships
It's just obsessed with your juniors.
a week ago.
Uh-huh.
Played each other in the last round on the top board. No quick draws. They didn't want to get kicked off the team. Oh man, Ivanchuk lost the game.
David, would you describe Danny as a co-founder of chess.com?
No.
No, I wouldn't either, right? The book, I mean, I would say he's definitely a big part of it, but anyways, the book has got a subtitle of, or under his name, it says co-founder of chess.com.
Yeah. That is patently not true. I mean, I hired him, and I'm not a co-founder of Chess. There are only two co-founders.
Oh, did you guys ever read Kostya's brother's movie he wanted us to watch? I've been meaning to do it. It's not a read, it's a watch. Have you watched Computer Chess? Alex Kavutsky's strong recommendation.
No.
I haven't.
He said it was just on YouTube, right? Like we could just find it there.
I think you just find it, yeah. So that's been something I've wanted to do for a while. If we could all
What did you
watch
say
it.
was Computer Chess?
Yeah, it's called Computer Chess. It's like a kind of a spoof, and a documentary spoof on computer chess dudes from like the 1980s. It sounds like it wouldn't be great, but he gave it such a strong promo that it's on our list here.
I see
Yeah,
previews
I'll try
for
to check it out.
But where's the real thing?
I think you can get it also like on Amazon or something, like the Prime Video, whatever.
Well, I would have to find it first, yeah.
Oh, and then I don't know if you guys seen this, but on the Dojo Talks thing, I listed a whole bunch of books that you people haven't read yet, or anyways, maybe some of them you have. And any of those books, I think we could talk about too. Yeah, I would add to that list too. There's a lot of books that we never talk about.
Can we record a podcast like right now before Kostya goes to Italy?
Like right now?
I mean, now's not a bad time.
What do you want to talk about?
But normally we prepare a little bit, so maybe Tuesday the 27th.
Yeah, we could do it.
My kids don't have school on Monday. Yours probably don't either, right, Jesse?
Right. But I could also do it Monday.
So I could only do Tuesday.
All right, chat. What should we do? What should we do on Tuesday? There's so many things. You want to get deep with chess philosophy? Hardest chess books. That's another good one. I think the Patty Upton discussion would also be interesting. I don't know how deep we could go into it, but I think it would be interesting.
Looks like I voted for chess philosophy at some point. Or the topics got rearranged.
John Bartholomew, thanks for the raid. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. We're just chatting basically. This is a list that we
It's a
have.
maintenance stream.
A maintenance stream. Yeah, we got a maintenance stream going on.
We should have John on as a guest
There you go.
for the podcast.
Like, I don't know what happens in the dude's life after the Chessable stuff, I don't know anything about it. That'd be an interesting story.
Yeah. Or we could talk about the original vision of Chessable.
Yeah. For sure.
Cool. So many people use it. Some people might not know the history.
Also, if you're just joining us, the dojo, we released Dojo 4.0. Oh man, you can get 40% off. Oh, just use code Dojo right now, buddy. Oh, so easy.
Wow.
So easy.
40% off the training program.
And the site, dude. And the site.
Amazing.
Who damaged the world championship more? Chess and dementia.
All right, we got a question. Hi, senseis. Quick question. When I started the dojo on the 700 cohort, I had a 1030 chess com and 0 elo on FIDE. Now I'm at 1579 FIDE. Would you recommend I jump through all cohorts in between? Wow, that's a big difference. Well, how about we ask a first question? How many games have you played with that FIDE rating?
Yeah. Is that an accurate FIDE rating?
Right. These are some basic questions. But also, this is, if anybody has a question, this is the moment. This is the moment to give us a question. DJ Razzle, thank you for rating us. All right, David, which of those topics do you want to do? We're discussing our next dojo talks. Well, honestly, okay, so the 27th, and it's important to you guys to wait for the June 1st list to talk about the top.
Talk about the June list, yeah.
Okay. It's not going to change that much, but
All right, here's something that interests me, Jesse. The question, what does it mean to give everything to chess?
Okay.
Sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, can Neiman become world champion?
It's an easy no, but okay, we can talk about that too.
No, there's lots of world championships. You got the World Rapid Team Championship.
Oh,
coming up.
no, we mean the world championship.
Yeah, we don't mean other stuff.
We don't have podcasts about the world team championship.
The World Atomic Chess Championship.
Oh, real world champion? Oh. Yeah, that's
the real
tough.
one.
Why does that one interest you, David? You think he's got a shot? What? Yeah.
I think it also lets you talk about two different things that are interesting, right? One, Hans Niemann, and number two, like what it takes to become world champion, right? So, if you wanted to say that he couldn't become world champion, then you would probably need to tell us something about what does someone else have that he doesn't, right? Like what's an ingredient for being world champion that he lacks, or a couple ingredients. And so we would get at like what's the recipe or the formula for the world champion, right? Like just for instance, maybe you think Praggnanandhaa has a chance to become world champion one day. Mm-hmm. Just for argument's sake, I don't want to spoil the episode in advance, but if you thought that, you'd have to say like, what does Pragg have, that Hans lacks, and that could be an interesting discussion.
Okay. By the way, I think we're going to have a prompt for this talks because, okay, what I'm reading now is at some point in this year, the year's almost half done, Netflix is releasing their Carlsen Neiman cheating thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be part of the Netflix Untold series. We'll explore the drama and aftermath of the incident.
Here's another topic that's appealing to me. Top chess countries of all time. It could be controversial, but it sounds like a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. I mean, Kostya, you'll have to try to be less racist than normal, but if you can stay focused.
No, I mean, this is like top countries, it's hard.
So when we're imagining that, we'd be like thinking about, like, I don't know, we'd say like Germany in 1900, or we have to time locate a lot of those discussions, right?
Right.
I was just thinking overall. Just like
Right, but you talk about like what they contributed with some kind of time location, right? Or when they were great, or how long they were a top country, right?
Right. So like the Soviet Union is no longer a thing, but it would definitely be one of the top chess countries of all time.
yeah, I guess should we differentiate that between Russia?
That's a tricky question.
That's the one. Now we're gonna get political.
What I would do is I would just say that the Soviet Union is not. I would just not count that as like a country, because like Petrosian, for example, would be, I would say he's Armenian, right? Not Soviet Union.
Okay.
He would have seen himself as a Soviet.
He would have, yeah.
But just for the purposes of this discussion, I would say like he's Team Armenia, and like Tal is Team Latvia.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we could do it that way.
Well, I guess Latvia is the top chess country of all time.
oh, why is that?
You just mentioned.
Well, but also you have a problem. Like Latvia has got less people, so you know it's a little bit unfair.
Well, this topic is definitely unfair. It's built into it.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely not winning if we count Tal as Soviet Union.
I mean, the odds that we bring up the Vatican during this episode are very low, but it's just built into it.
Chess Gone Mad wants hardest chess books. Come on, of course we do. We can do that one.
Hardest chess books, yeah.
It is tricky. Like, who would you? Yeah, okay. I guess Kasparov would be. I would count him as Russia because he played for Russia for many years.
Mm-hmm. We just get into a lot of arguing about who was from where. Spend the whole episode like claiming different players.
I think it's a good topic.
You know, Korchnoi goes for Switzerland. No, are you crazy? When he, was at his peak, he was still playing for the Soviet Union.
Okay, I mean it's not so relevant.
Yeah,
Like
well, I
Russia's
think we
still a
can muddle our
top
way
country, even if you don't count like a few of their players. Like they've got enough talent on the bench.
Okay, David, pick a one for us, bud. What do you want to
I
do
get
on
to
Tuesday?
pick?
Yeah, or unless I mean, unless you pick something really terrible, I'm gonna say okay to it.
All right, I will pick.
Uh-oh.
Can Hans become world champion?
You really want to do it before that Netflix thing comes out, though?
I don't know. You asked me to pick.
Okay. I did. I have only myself to blame.
Normally we pick by having two of the three of us pick a topic.
Yeah.
For some reason you want me to pick, but then criticize what I pick.
agree
I don't know.
with Jesse. I think we should wait on that one.
All right, David, give us another one then, buddy.
Yeah. I just think there's no winning right now with Hans.
If you wait too long, it might already be clear that he will or won't.
Oh, trust me, it's already clear.
Well, at least until the Netflix thing. I don't know. Netflix thing will be interesting for sure.
When the Netflix thing comes out, the focus won't be on whether he becomes world champion. There'll be some other topic.
Oh, they're
And
gonna pump him up.
I'm still waiting on the polygraph test. He said he took it. He said he's going to release the video. There hasn't been a video yet. I'm still waiting on that.
True.
Is that a collab with Dubov?
Mm-hmm. He promised.
Apparently, they're having a rematch in a couple days.
And what's at stake in the rematch? Whether or not they publish the video they already did?
I don't know.
Now, Neiman did make it to 21st in the world, so, he's almost broken into the top 20.
Yeah, players at that level have been world champion in the last recent years.
Oh, here's a topic we could do. What's going to happen to chess once everyone gets a chip in their brain?
Oh, that's really futuristic.
Yeah. But I was just talking to someone who thinks that might not be that many years away.
For everyone to have it?
Well, once a certain number of people get it, that's already a big problem.
Yeah.
That's intense to think about. Yeah.
That's kind of a depressive topic. I don't know if we should.
Yeah? You're not pumped about the cyborg future?
Yeah.
What would the chess philosophy topic be, Jesse?
So that I put that up there after reading. Well, there's a couple books that are kind of pre-computer age that really want to talk about chess philosophy, but the big one that I read was this collection of kind of organized essays by Karpov's old trainer. Oh, what was that guy's name? Anyways, actually, I'm gonna look him up. So he basically is on the hunt in this book for chess philosophy. And to make a long story short, I feel like with Nimzovich and the hypermodern school, you have a spot in chess history where it looks like chess philosophy is going to be a very important topic. And then with the Soviet school that kind of takes over from there, it kind of dies out as a thing. Like no one wrote something amazing that seemed like a chess philosophy. And then at the same time, so many people, Igor Zaitsev, that was the guy's name. I'm terrible with names, can't remember anything. So at the same time, so many people appreciated Nimzovich as a chess philosopher and the way of approaching chess. And there have been a variety of people who have developed concepts that are like, to me, are kind of like standalone concepts that are interesting, and they've written about them. Zaitsev, for example, has some interesting ideas. His book is called Attacking the Strong Point, for example. There's this whole thing about the strong point and what you're doing in the game of chess. And so usually these philosophical things are approaches to chess that are trying to access something deeper about the game. And of course, in the computer world, it's harder than ever to talk about philosophy, right? Because it's like you have some idea about what's going on in the game, and the computer's like, I don't care, dude. I don't care at all. And also, it's like if someone were to write something in a philosophical way, like kind of the way Nimzovich did, would there be an audience for it? Probably not. The computer kids would be like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, that's to me the short brief on what that discussion is about. But I would want to just bring back some of these old voices, whether it's Zaitsev or Nimzovich, and be like, is it even, what was this thing? Is it just a historical artifact? Mm-hmm. I think Bronstein's question is like really fascinating, where you say that chess is a meditation on what is chess. And then right when you ask that question, it sounds dumb at first, and you're like, wait a second, that's an important question. What is chess? Not actually so super simple to answer.
What is chess?
What is
does
chess?
Does sound like a topic for us.
Yeah.
That's a good title. What is chess?
Yeah.
By the way, Alexis
we've got a
is
better topic here in the chat, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Charlie Bao over on YouTube asks for an episode on the Esports World Cup in Saudi Arabia. I think this week is the perfect time to do that episode. So that's my next suggestion, since Jesse said I was picking.
I don't know a lot about that one.
I don't either. Do you know anything about it, buddy?
I did see that GeoGuessr has pulled out of the Esports World Cup, and it was a big thing.
Okay.
Why is that a big thing?
Well, I guess they turned down a lot of money to to pull their event out, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a protest thing.
Yeah, Jesse, you'll have to do some research for this episode.
Okay.
But it'll be very interesting. Here are some things, some places you can start. One is like chess.com has been doing this Magnus tour that's a layover from the Play Magnus days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be 4 or 5 events per year. And this year they reduced it to 2. And the point of it is to qualify not for the normal final stage of the Magnus Tour, but to qualify for the Esports World Cup.
Okay.
Then there's this aspect of, oh, it's such a big deal that chess players are signing to these esports teams like, Kostia, do you know the names of some esports teams?
Yeah, you got like Team Waffle House and like.
Oh,
Team...
come on. Yeah, I should know. I used to watch.
Team Liquid is one of them.
Esports. Team Liquid. There you go. There's the name.
I think that's the one Magnus is on. So
there you go. So there's the talk of that being a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a political / sports washing angle on the thing being hosted in Saudi Arabia, which is probably what the GeoGuessr pulling out is about. So, it's a chance of talking about chess as an e-sport and what's happening to the Magnus Tour and all these players signing with the esports teams and everybody signing with the Saudi government in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of these people, or at least Magnus, I believe, is basically an official ambassador for the event.
Oh, wow.
The whole esports World Cup.
So the Saudis, what they do is they poach the older legends, like they poached Ronaldo, right? And Ronaldo's playing in their league. This is their
Whatever
thing.
that is, and whatever league you're talking about.
Oh
sure.
my God, bro! Oh my God, they're lost. Anyways, we'd have to talk about that if we're going to talk about Saudi Arabia and the esports.
But that guy's
That's
not
true,
a chess
and-
player. I don't recognize the name. I would know him if it were a chess player.
And there's no or they also do they got a golf thing too.
That's right. They got the golf thing, and that one. I don't know anything about golf, but I know that that's been a huge split in the golf world because they gave so much money that they lured like half of the main names or something to go play for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a good topic. And right now they're playing the second of those events on chess.com. So the last event that qualifies for the Esports World Cup is on chess.com this week.
Okay.
Finishing tomorrow.
Well, Kosi, is that something you want to do, buddy?
We could. Yeah, feels like an interesting topic for sure.
It would force me to grow because then I would have to go delve deep into something I would normally not care about.
Yeah.
But I do think, especially if they really go for it, it could end up affecting the chess world.
Kostia, for you it's 8:20, right?
Right now, yes.
Yeah. All right, so I propose Tuesday the 27th at 9:30/12:30/6:30. Does that seem convenient, or does anyone want to do it?
Wait, say my time again?
Your time would be 12:30 on Tuesday.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. I think that works.
All right, it's on the calendar.
Well, you guys want to do a couple more grads before we finish this off?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a couple more grads. Boom, boom. We're going to go back here, and I think what I can do now, we're going to go, I'm going to capture, let's see, not that one, that one. And I'm going to bring you guys' beautiful face into the grad show. There you
Sorry,
go.
Chess Gone Mad too late. We had it up for a while. But also, we'll release the list publicly once it's ready.
Yeah, Kosa's going to do a big old vid on this. And now these guys are going to help me finish. This was one of the longest grad shows we've had. We don't have that many left. And some of these I think this first one might not be a real one. So this is Richard A. This is Dojo Training
the way-
Program. But go ahead, Kostya.
By the way, Alexis in the chat was right. Simon Furman was Karpov's first coach, and then Zaitsev took over when Furman passed away
Right.
in 1978. I asked ChatGPT.
Zaitsev had the ringside seat
true.
though. Like he was there for all of the Korchnoi not the first one, but the Korchnoi matches and the Kasparov matches. You know, the whole thing.
Right.
So Richard A just joined, has nothing to say. Richard A, we want you to put something in, buddy. He's been here forever. He's been here since 23, just graduated, but English Chess Federation, but doesn't say anything to us. So Richard, come back to the dojo, buddy. Commit yourself to the training program. Now this next guy I want to say is famous for me, Ricardo Alves. He is famous because he has produced many top commentaries, annotations, and so this is a great graduation. All right, let's read what he says. It was difficult, painful, and tiring, but I managed to graduate again. The program helped me a lot, especially in recommending books and in the systematic way to analyze my own classic games. I wasn't able to take full advantage of the program in the part that refers to sparring games because my schedule is a bit hectic. I have a family and a full-time job. In addition to the program, I train tactics every day on Chess Tempo. Now, with this new degree, which came almost together with the heat map, I intend to properly record my training on the Dojo platform. Well, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hectic lives.
Hectic
It's
lives,
a thing.
yeah.
But hectic lives or not, everybody, let me just tell you, if you spar, it will be worth it. I know it's an extra effort to make it happen, but I'm telling you, it'll be worth it.
Now, Ricardo's down there in Brazil. We got 14 members from the Brazil dojo, so that's pretty cool. And I know Ricardo has games. Yeah, here's a good 88 moves. Oh, here we go. Art of the Storm. All right, first we're going to see, do we have clock times? We do. And we got a problem here. We got a problem. So he says this was, I'm just going to read a little bit of what he's saying while we're looking at the time graph. He says, this was a sad game for me. I played badly in the opening, badly in the middle game, terrible in the end game. I was very distracted during the match, and I ended up missing clear opportunities to draw. I feel like I was too lazy to calculate the whole time, waiting for the game to miraculously fall into my lap. And so we've seen this before. You know, people, especially if you're playing online, things can get really bad with the level of distraction. And so this looks like a classical case of that. All right, let's get into it. So far so good. Standard stuff. And h3, bishop f3. He writes, so far I'm within my repertoire. I've made automatic moves quickly. I've reached a position that's not often played, but which I know is somewhere between equality and a small advantage for me. Yeah. I remember looking at this ages ago with David Vigorito, and he was just like, oh yeah, totally fine for black in this position. And I really feel that way too. But white, of course, can dream about opening up the position. And black instantly plays e5, which probably can't be wrong, but I think if I was white, I might be a little happy to see that move. Whereas if he plays e6, my bishop is never going to, my unopposed bishop on f3 is never going to be anything special. We should also mention that ef3 is not ridiculous, with the intention of playing f4 later. Okay, but anyways, let's stick to the game. He says, he does think for 2 minutes on this first decision and plays c4, calling it the standard move. And in hindsight, he likes d3 better. All right. It's hard for me to call c4 wrong. What comes next kind of feels wrong, but it's hard for me to think that c4 was wrong.
Yeah, c4 looks right to me.
Now, black thinks and plays dc4. Oh, wait a second. Wait, I'm sorry, you guys. Where did you go? Where did you guys go? I had you. Oh, I know what I need to do. No. I know you're here, but what I need to do is I need to go grab your. Actually, I'll tell you what. For this part of the show, let's leave your vid off just so we can see his annotations.
Okay.
So he's talking about knight a3 and stuff. Doesn't queen c2 just look like a reasonable position for white?
dc4 looks wrong to me.
Yeah, dc4 looks wrong. Yeah, like white's one asset is the bishop, and you just moved that pawn out of the way. And so if we play queen c2, I don't know, it looks like we're doing great.
Yeah, this is a real influence, Huncho. Black has taken an advantage in the center while white got castled and got the bishop pair. So, a trade-off.
And he's talking about knight a3 instead of queen c2. Maybe that's also interesting. Because queen c2, I don't know. I'd rather be white, I think. After knight c3, we might be just worse. Bishop b4 though doesn't look right to me. Bishop b4, and black is tanking forever. And now we got queen a.
Right to me would be knight bd7.
Yeah, something like knight bd7.
Preparing defenses of our extra pawn while developing. So
bishop b4, you don't want to take that knight. No way. Oh no, and then he took it. All right, so now we're going to get to the root of what happened wrong in this game for our friend Ricardo, because he says after b takes c3, which he only spent 32 seconds on. It says, again, without calculating or thinking more deeply about the position, I try to follow a general pattern to choose a move. In fact, in general, when there are two pawn capture options, it is better to capture toward the center. The problem is that this capture restricts my pieces too much, completely delaying my development. Yeah, okay. Now, I do want to say, I still think you're doing fine, even though b takes c3 is a weird move.
Yeah.
Where I think it's going to be a little hard for you is you have to figure out a plan to deal with your d2 pawn. Other than that, I think I still believe in the position. This one, though, it's just so much easier to play, like with the d takes. Like, does black really want to play b5? They kind of have to if they've gone this far.
Which is the one thing that b takes c3 prevents, probably, is b5. So.
No, he still played it.
Oh, really?
He still played b5.
Well, then I guess he didn't castle this game. Oh, no, because our hero is going to play badly and let black castle at some point, huh?
Well, let's go. Queen b4. And now black plays e4. Okay. Bishop g2. And now knight a6 happens. I don't know about a lot of these moves. Knight a6 here. Queen b6. All right, we got definitely a critical position for white now. And he writes about queen d6. Here I missed a golden opportunity. My position seems a bit uncomfortable, down a pawn. My pieces aren't very active. But there's a difference between my position and my opponent's, which is the safety of the kings. Good. And he comes up with the right intuitive move, bam, in his notes, d3.
Yeah.
And I gotta go d3, open things up.
One of the cool things about this move, too, is it should be a move that after you see it, you probably shouldn't even try to calculate it. You just be like, oh, that's the move. because you have to free the c1 bishop. Your d2 pawn is a problem. Your g2 bishop has to get open.
Yeah.
And you could calculate it a little bit, but honestly, it's just that's what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay, in general, I would say you're right, but maybe for this particular player, probably calculate it a little bit. Just like try to get in the habit of not making big moves without spending decent time on them.
I'm just saying it's an intuitive move. It's not
Yeah.
something to
Yeah, I mean, if you
belabor.
were sacking a piece or something, then you might have some doubts as to whether or not it's the right move. But I mean, are we worried that black would take twice on d3 and be up a pawn? No.
Right.
No, I'm not worried about anything. I'm just saying, like, for this player in particular, I feel like it'd be good to learn to spend more time.
Yeah, he did spend he spent 3 minutes on queen d6. His opponent bullies him. We go back. And now castles. Okay. Now,
Oh, wait, bishop a3
you can't play bishop a3 yet, bud.
with the queen on d6.
Oh, you could have played bishop a3, yeah. But it's nothing special for white. You mean like instead on move 15 here, you want to play bishop a3. But you got this, then you got to deal with this nasty with the castle's long, and you got to worry about your Pieshka on d2 and stuff. A little bit unpleasant still. Okay, queen f4 castles. And a4, I think that's the right feel to it. Now, let's just say he's still in the game. He's still, he's still doing fine.
I mean, he's down one pawn, and his last move could have been bishop takes e4, right? So white's definitely fine.
Oh.
Okay. So, bishop a3 is a very natural move. It's hard to argue with bishop a3. His opponent plays knight d5. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. And now we get queen g4 with 9 minutes of thought. What's interesting is he does think for a while, and then it just turns. Something happened. Something happened after a little bit here. All right, so then they repeat a little bit, and black says, "No, I'm coming in, buddy."
Yeah.
And we're going to admit that that's kind of an annoying move. So maybe in our annotations, what we want to say on knight d5 is queen h4 is maybe more to the point. Because now we're threatening e4 and we're threatening rook fb1.
Yeah.
So in the annotations, I think we should say that knight c5 is definitely black's best move in this position. So this is a mistake, then that's a mistake. And then he kind of gets it corrected here.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, it would be very sad to take that knight on c5. Do we have to do it, David?
Unless there's some magic with d3 again, right? So unless there's rook b1, knight b3, d3, either you calculate that and it works, or you chop the knight before it comes to b3.
Yeah, I would just take the knight. I don't know. I feel like white's still okay there.
The idea there, I think, would be after taking the knight to play rook b1 to b7, right?
Or maybe rook a6.
Or rook a6. Playable as well. Double, and then maybe even queen e3.
Yeah. Yeah, because all of black's pawns are weak.
Or once you're doubled, maybe you have rook a5 and chase their queen back and then play queen e3. Maybe you don't even have to trade it.
But yeah, you gotta take this knight.
So if rook AB1, knight A4, D3, black will have queen A4. If rook FB1, knight B3, D3,
Sorry about that. The driver stepped away from the wheel for a second.
oh, maybe knight D5 and then knight C3 against any version of D3. So if that's the case, we really do have to take the knight, Jesse.
Okay, so taking the knight. Now I guess we're suffering. That's unpleasant. That's unpleasant. And now black goes crazy with knight takes c3. Okay, here. And now he finally gets d3. Good. Now I have no idea what's happening, but at least our bishops are talking. And now dude plays bishop f1 with loads of time. Loads of time. And then, yeah, bishop takes c6. I don't even know what's going on.
Nobody does.
Nobody knows. Oh, who knows what's happening now? Zip zap. I just see all kinds of things flying around. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening here.
I guess rook b8.
Yeah. And then I can't tell you what's happening.
I think black is still better.
It could be. It could be. All right, so bishop f1. And now bishop c5. Presumably missing...
Go back to bishop f1. On bishop f1, should black maybe move the knight on b3? Is there a possibility to exchange sack and get dangerous pawns?
I'm sure there is, David. I'm sure there is. But on the other hand, black is just going to play it simple here, right? Okay. I mean, d8 is also a little weird. Why not d7, right?
Okay.
But that's just, I feel like that's just a blunder there. He did think, it's weird, he does think 8 minutes on this move. So he kind of, well, okay. He kind of doesn't mind this move for himself. To me, it seems like we just sacrificed the exchange. Okay, I guess I get it. Do I get it? I don't know. Here. And now he's talking about bishop d4.
Wow. Crazy.
So hold on. Hold on. Bishop c5, maybe a double exclam move.
So I saw the whole knight c3 thing.
Knight c3. And by the way, how odd was it that the guy moved back to d8 instead of d7? Nobody knows. Okay, here. Bishop, king. Oh yeah, this is a major miss, and then he spent 22 seconds on it. Well, that was bum. That was a bum. Okay. Oh, Ricardo.
Breath away from genius.
Hair's breadth away from genius.
Bishop
Yeah.
c5, rook a7.
Oh no. Oh man. Well, then I guess he's toast after this. That's crispy critters, right? Yeah. All right, let's stop there. And I'm going to test my Portuguese here. A tentative, hold on, give me a tentative attempt to search for a draw by sacrificing the bishop. Something like that. Okay, you guys, let's call this game there. Ricardo, you always have the best annotations. By the way, you guys, we have a book out called How to Analyze Your Games According to the Dojo. And Ricardo is featured in that book.
My 2-year-old bought that book yesterday morning, by the way, guys.
She bought it? Or he bought it?
Yeah. She got her hands on our Kindle, and apparently she knows how to buy books. So we have to keep it away from her.
All right.
At least she didn't buy somebody else's book. It could have been worse, or like 10 books.
Now, I don't know Buspero. Buspero, this is a very interesting player to me. Doesn't say anything about himself. Is working diligently since early January. Lots of tactics, some opening work, and has made it to this amazing 19-2000. So this is a big graduation. Very impressive.
Oh, man, look at that work.
Now, this guy he says Dojo 1.0, so he's been around.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit, it doesn't say anything. Let's see if we can see anything from sometimes, no clubs. And he's got a couple games, okay. But these are ancient games. Dang. So, Buspero, buddy, obviously you're doing great. Looks like you're doing a lot of tactics. Give us some games, dude. Give us some games. It's very, by the way, for us at the dojo, you know, we like all graduations, but we're trying to get some homegrown GMs, you know? We want the homegrown GMs. And so, yeah, we got people like you, but you're doing the work. This is great. Okay. So hopefully we'll see more from you. And we got one more from We Shall Win. We Shall Win doesn't tell us anything right away either. Let's see. Just trying to chill while cooking. Okay. He's just trying to chill while cooking. Doesn't say a lot. But I think he's in the wrong, well, at least his FIDE is in the wrong cohort. His chess.com is normalized to a much higher rating. So that's a weird discrepancy there between 1778 FIDE and 2012 ChessCom. Yeah, a little weird. Let's see what's going on here. Clubs, nothing. Games, got a couple. One is a 2-move long game, but I think we're going to look at me versus Han Shui. 91 plus 0, that's a weird time control. Okay, so maybe...
I think what happens occasionally, Jesse, is somebody tries to do 90 plus 30, but they end up with 90-30. You know what I mean? Like 90 minutes, 30 seconds on the first move.
I've already gone over this game with Han Shui. So yeah, I don't know what was the occasion for me to go over it, but I did go over this game already. Well, We Shall Win, dude. Congratulations. You know, one of the things we do want to stress is that once you get to 2000, we really don't want you to do online ratings. And there's several reasons for that. One is it's very hard to get the longer games with the higher ratings, but also, like, my experience with the ChessCom is the cheaters are just on fire once you get to around 2000 ChessCom, and here you are at 2285. And what I mean by that is with the longer games. It's something like more than, let's say 40% of your opponent. Just put it anecdotally. My student is around 2000 ChessCom, and about 40% of his players, just the random ones that he's playing there, are cheating. So that's another reason. You shouldn't be using your ChessCom for the preferred rating. Yeah. All right, you guys, that was it, though. I got to run. That was a beautiful show. I'm going to see you guys on Tuesday, maybe before then. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Do either of you guys want to take this stream over while I get out of here?
It's late for Kostya.
Yeah, I'm pretty done.
Okay. I just realized this thing's telling me I've been on here for almost 4 hours. Holy moly.
Yeah. Good,
Folks,
good.
join the dojo if you want to get better at chess. If
Yeah.
not, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's right, buddy. And I'm going to move these guys over to see you. Use code DOJO for 40% off. You can do that for like the next month. Yep. Dojo's looking good, man. We've got a lot of cool things going on.
Yeah.
All right, should I raid Chess Sharks? How about we raid Chess Sharks,
Yeah.
friend of the dojo?
Raid the Sharks.
Bang. Getting that started. Oh, man. David's about to go to Honolulu or something. Costa's going over there to Sicily, and I'm just staying put, man. What's this? What's this? All right, I'm going to raid him. Bang.